Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you are of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, we welcome you this morning. I'd like to say again, thank you to Sister Jill Chairs for Aruka at the Well for having me on last night. Shout out to Gates of Holder breaking down those scriptures. She puts in the work to get that history on out there. To give you historical understanding of how these scriptures were tainted and why we look at things all crazy and cockeyed, but we have to realize what the deception truly was to keep us away from what the Most High was trying to provide for his people. I also like to say shout out to Big Red. He hadn't been on in a while. It was good catching a live of his. And he goes in deep with that flea or chat GPT. He was telling y'all what these capabilities are. We are not that far away from folks being entered into the matrix. Already trying to do the little AR type stuff, the augmented reality. What makes you think that they won't start to augment that reality into their own virtual world? It's going to be a virtual captivity. Saddest thing is everybody sees that coming. So, so I had some things in my mind with healing, but then I had to get pulled back by the Most High, and He said, "Look, part of healing is spiritual growth. You can't really heal if your spirit's not there, if your mind's not there, if your understanding's not there. See, it's real easy to be in Eurocentric Christianity because, to be honest, you really don't have a standard. Well, I'm under grace. That's great. So, where's the standard? See, it's hard because when you understand that there's judgments, to be judged means that there has to be a standard that people had to work with or be guided under. In today's times, nobody wants to recognize that there's literally a standard. They do want to participate in the do as thou wilt. Don't worry, because we'll never get judged. And that's been the wrong method. Because when you are the people that have literally taken up something for your personal gain and not for the understanding of who that Elohim is, that is Zechariah 11:5. We offend not because the shepherds have given them over to us. Making us rich, just paraphrasing it. And so, as we realize we've enriched our enemies, because why? Because we didn't want to do the simplest things, and that's to give the Most High praise and glory and honor. And so now we're at the last moments of this captivity. And we can see the buildup coming. See, in order to understand the impending doom, you have to look at the impending doom that we had gone through. Types and shadows. Types and shadows. They wanted to take our heritage. Okay. Most sides said, fine, but you're going to be judged. See, they could say all this spiritual Israel, they can have all this replacement theology, they can have everything they want, but they don't have the blood. They don't have the bloodline. They don't have this DNA. They could try to emulate the DNA. They can get all sorts of surgeries and everything else to augment their bodies to look like us. They can darken their skin or tan their skin or inject their skin with melanin to look like us. But all the whiles, they don't have the DNA. They ain't got the juice. And we didn't understand that we had the juice. We were just walking around saying, Father, why are we an accursed people? Father, why can't we get this together? And all the whiles, you don't know and couldn't even understand the systematic efforts that was being done to us to keep us right where we were at as a captive audience. Couldn't understand it. We just said, well, it's just another day in America. It's just this, it's just that. All we could do is just provide excuses instead of really delving in, instead of really digging in to truly understand what's happening. And to truly understand what's happening, you have to really dig into the word and you have to dig into the Most High. Because he does what? He'll lead you and guide you into all truth. Because that's what the Ruach HaKodesh is for, the Holy Spirit's for. So I wanted to come here real quick. Isaiah 3. For behold, Yahuah, Yahuah Sabaoth, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff and the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty man, the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. It's funny. We saw a headline the other day that said the IQ of Americans has gone down. You know what that means? That's Joel chapter 3. That's Obadiah, literally. The wise men out of Teman. So if folks can't even hardly think or have any type of an intellectual capacity to have understanding, it just means we're literally in a group of dummies. Hate to say it that way. I hate to phrase it that way, but that's literally the study that they had. We're a stupid nation. We're in a stupid people. So why do we get upset when we try to present this information to a bunch of dummies? It's your fault for getting mad that you were getting mad at folks. Why can't you get this? I'm going to tell you why. Isaiah 3 and 4. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. Do we understand that? Do we see this right now, this very hour? Just think about all the people in their quote unquote leadership. And thy people, excuse me, and the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. Do we see this at play right now? I think we do. I'm just saying, family, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving you the word. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou ruler, thou art ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. Look, they said, Come here and take a hold of this mess. You need to lead us out of this mess. You need to guide us out of this mess, man. What? Are you crazy? We're going to be able to fix this mess. We can fix it. Because why? Here it goes. Isaiah 3 and 7. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer. For in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. Look, no, no, no. So for y'all that want to give me emails and say you're this, you're that, you're that. Look, I'm nobody here in this. You could just call me nobody, like that movie Nobody. I'm just doing some spiritual fighting, and that's it. Cause why? Cause your shepherds have gone astray. They fed the flock to the wolves. Don't count me in that number. Please don't. Oh, covenant awakening. Look at what Brother Garrett said. Look at this. Look at that. No, 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 and no. That's why look, nobody here is trying to be a leader. Because why? Because we know what the scripture says. Everybody's running short on bread. Everybody's running short on water. The only thing I can do is just give you truth and peace. But I need more. I need more. I need you get what I'm saying? Do you understand? We become so insatiable that we're always, well, I need. I can't give you that. And I've always told folks, I can't give you what you need. Only the Most High can. I'm going to give you this word. We're going to look at this word. And that's going to be up between you and the Most High. But I need. Guess who can satisfy your needs? I'm just saying. Isaiah 3:8 for Jerusalem and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against Yahuah to provoke the eyes of his glory. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom, and they hide it not. Do we see this shadow here? Do we see this allegorical analogy here for the times that we're living in? Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. They say, ye to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. And they've been rewarded. They're getting rewarded every day. There's a reward for the righteous and a reward for the wicked. See, when people look at judgment, I always have to say, well, what are you getting judged for? What's your reward of the wicked? The reward of the wicked is judgment. Isaiah 3, we're just looking at this. Isaiah 3 and 12, as for my people, children are their oppressors. And women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. What's the paths? The paths are standard. What's the standard? It's a gate. It's a guardrail. I can't do that. I can't follow these law, statutes, and commandments. I can't listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. I can't do any of that. Man, I'm going to go my own way. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do me. Have we not heard that? Same thing that you hear from children. Same thing that you hear from women. And I'm not here to beat up our sisters, but I'm just going to tell you, the passport bros started somewhere. They started because of something. Man, I don't even want these women here. They're like, I'm out. Shout out to Phil for African diaspora news. He said, well, they're not passport bros anymore. These are passport kings. And then he does that little video clip of the airplane taking off. Why is that? Because everything is out of order. Now you're seeing it in Babylon. Isaiah 3:13, Yahuwah standeth up to plead and standeth to judge the people. Yahuwah will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people and the princes thereof, for ye have eaten up the vineyard, and the spoil of the poor is in your houses. What mean ye that beat my people to pieces and grind the faces of the poor, said Yahuwah Sabaoth. Do we not see that now? Here, especially with our people. See, we did it to ourselves. Now the oppressors are doing it to us because we had to see ourselves. Fine, don't believe me? Then let's take a look. Let's have a look. See, let's do this. That's what the Most High said. All right, I'm going to give you over to your enemies, and they're going to do it top down. Your princes are going to be the ones on the ground while your oppressors are on horseback. Here's the one that always stirs up controversy. I wasn't trying to be controversial this morning, but I know that this always stirs up controversy. Moreover, this is Isaiah 3:16. Moreover, saith Yahuwah, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore, Yahuwah will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughter of Zion, and Yahuwah will discover their secret parts. In that day, Yahuwah will take away the bravery of the tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers and the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and nose jewelry and the changeable suits of apparel. You know, the Gucci, the Fendi, the Versace, the Louis Vuitton. And the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pans, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stank. And instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of well set hair, baldness. Instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth. And burning instead of beauty. They shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. Hey, it's already happened to our people, so now we're going to get ready to see it happen to them. Nothing new under the sun. We're just telling them, look, this is what the word says. Nobody's really following America like that anymore. Have you seen that? Nobody really cares about the culture of America like that anymore. Matter of fact, Africa's straight out rejecting this. Them brothers and sisters are out there saying, "Man, we don't want any of that. We're rejecting white supremacy. We're rejecting that. Oh, don't you know? This is what our men like. This is this. This is that." And then you see they're doing the passport bro thing too. Cue that plane. Shh. Except for the terminology that's used is, they're being Karens. Because why? Because the haughtiness and the vanity has caught up with them. See? Do you understand that our people were the original Karens? And you saw how the Most High dealt with our people, especially our women. And now these folks are having plagues out here. And these plagues are real. These plagues are catching up with them at a real rate. It's nothing to mess around with. These plagues are messing them up. And they know it. It's not fashionable anymore. And you want to know why it's not fashionable? Because here's really the bottom line. We're not making it fashionable as a people. Well, don't you know you need to be clean cut and clean shaven and you need to do this and you need to do that and don't you know you need to look like this and look like that and don't you know and it's like no, I don't want to look like anything except how the Most High wants me to look. I don't want to do or participate in anything except what glorifies the Most High. Yeah, that's all said and cool, but what about this? And can you say something about that? We've compromised so much, and we could tell we've been a compromised people. Just look at us. Jill C asked, about the condition of our people presently. I'd say the condition of our people presently, we're destroyed. All around humdrum, we're destroyed. And the reason we're destroyed is because it's easy to manipulate us with their demonic culture. Well, what about this? Don't you want to be a transformer? Don't you want to do an alien? Don't you want to be a it them they otherwise who knows who? One two three thing one thing two. Uh, um, Everything except a son or daughter of the Most High. Everything except an Israelite. As long as you identify as a robot, thank God they identified as a robot because we don't want them identified as an Israelite. Because why? Because they want us to be in a continual state of destruction. Tell me who you are. Oh, I'm thing, thing, thingy, thing, 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 thing. See me standing in the swamp right here? Now I'm Swamp Thing. Well, that's good. As long as you're not an Israelite. Oh, because if you're an Israelite, that means that our influence and our control is slipping. They get that little bad guy thing. Oh, they're slipping. Our control and our influence is slipping. Na, 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 na. They pull up the Cobra Commander. They do a Cobra Commander voice. Run away, the GI Joes are coming. La, 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 la. But what we say ourselves, we're Israelite Judas. Judas everywhere. Israelite Judas. Da 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 da. We're fighting against Hasatan wherever there's trouble. Israelite Judas are there. Israelite Judas. The real Israelite heroes. Israelite Judah. And reading the word is half the battle. I had to go old school on that one, family. Oh man. Israelite Judah. We got roadblock Judah. Well, don't you understand? You need to be looking at the law, statutes, and commandments. Because if not, Cobra Commander can be on over, and he'll slither, and that snake will come through. We snatching all these demons up. Lady Judah. I didn't know Lady J was Lady Judah. Bring those scriptures out and put it on your arrow. Hit them with a little Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. Ah, they're hitting me with the scriptures. Don't listen now. Oh man. Y'all got me on one this morning. So with that said, family, shalom, salamat, yemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Israel. Hallelujah. What? He he is Brother Karras feeling okay? No, Brother Karras is not feeling okay. Y'all had me doing G.I. Joe. Oh man. Oh boy, oh boy. All right. I told y'all, I said I'd get y'all on up here on Thursday. I know y'all were itching for it. I know Sister Chantel now has her Geiger counter as well as her phone app. Now that them folks over there, now that the UK folks want to send depleted uranium. Oh my goodness! And then we got Bro Rojo. Oh my goodness! Here comes Bro Rojo.
Oh dear. Shalom, everyone.
Let me.
Paris land.
I gotta give a safety disclaimer to Brother Rojo, before you talk, make sure that you down your iced tea. Okay. Don't hit nobody on the job.
Hey, I
Why
got.
did you run this person over? Look, this he is OSHA's worst nightmare.
Oh, I am. I am. They won't let me get my own private vehicle because my premiums will go way up, and they'll take that
Oh
out my
boy.
paycheck. So I
Yeah,
just
exactly.
nah.
Exactly.
I'll just stay more, stay local. I'll stay grounded.
Oh boy. So I'm talking about stunted spiritual growth. I'm gonna ask you all, what does it feel like when you're seeing that with your families? And I know that you've said it and you've expressed it, but what does that really feel like for you all, especially right now?
I was literally just talking to my mum this morning about that. Literally this morning. And um I can't even I can't even express the disappointment. Like we're so close and we're seeing the fulfillment of everything. Maybe not in the manner in which we thought it was going to be, but we're seeing the fulfillment on so much.
Hmm.
And it's like trying to tell family, even just try the despisement. Do you know what? I tell you what it is. I have come to the realization, the understanding that our people, the ones who can't see it and don't want to see it, whether they be atheistic in their beliefs or involved in whatever, whether it's Christianity, Islam, or whatever religion, and atheism is a religion. It's a to believe in nothing is still a belief. Um, I have come to the conclusion, understanding, and just I believe that they hate the Most High. I
Hmm.
cannot. There is no other way. Like they will, they will get emotional when it comes to, oh, they're killing our people and they're this and they're that. But then when you start showing them, well, this is scripture, they move from, well, why would any God do that? Like I had a friend who said, why would a God do that? And this same friend, she's about ancestor worship.
Hmm.
And I said to her, well, why are you still here? You, I know why the Most High did this to us, allowed this to happen to us. And he said straight up, I'm going to do this. This is me doing this to you. I'm going to use them as the switch, and I'm doing this to you. I know why. Because of the fact that we kept breaking his commandments. We kept putting others before, not just other gods, but going even to the Pharaoh of Egypt to to help us. We went to others, everyone. Flipping out, we would even go to a pet. We would go to a cat and a dog. We'd worship a cat and a dog before we even go to the Most High. And I said to
Right.
her, this is why he did this, because of what we did. It, you can't say that about your ancestors. So why did we, according to your ancestors, why did we go through this? And according to your ancestors, if they're so great and they're so worth you praying to, why did they allow this to happen? How are they weaker than these other people and their so-called gods? You worship them, you worship the ancestors, the gods of Africa. They're supposed to be older than all these other gods, but they never stopped nothing,
Yep.
right? So how are they deserving? They never told you it was coming. They never stopped it from happening, and they haven't saved you from it. They're not
Nope.
making you rich. They haven't done anything to you. You can flipping sacrifice a whole chicken and everything else and make this mess in your house and in your wherever you want to keep your mess, and you're still where you are.
Exactly.
So I don't understand. For me, it's like my mind is blown at this point, and I have come to the decision I am done. I said what I said a few days ago. I'm done. I ain't talking, I ain't telling, I ain't nothing. Right? It's literally at this point, and I'm not saying that this is the truth of everybody, but I said this, and I said this before, and I'm going to say this again. The Most High allowed His Holy Spirit to wake us up pretty much universally. I'm telling you all now this. The Most High is going to allow His Holy Spirit to shut our mouths just as universally. Because it's like, as Yeshua Himself said, dust, kick the dust from off your sandals. No more talk. We ain't running to the UA anymore, trying to get them to all these debates. We're done. We're done. It's like it's not even up for debate anymore. They just, if they want to be the little puppies and dogs running around in circles chasing their own tail, leave them, let them do that. They can do that to the end of flipping time. For all I care, I don't care. I care about what this is about, settling into the truth and settling into our faith, locking ourselves with the Most High. That's what this is about. Ain't got time for nobody and their stupid games. You want to believe in nothing? Go believe in Egypt. The Most High said, don't believe in Egypt, but you want that. So take that. Take it.
Brother Rojo.
What's up, brother Kerry? Shalom. Shalom to the panel. How's everybody doing?
Brother Rojo, what do you think about when you're interacting with your family and you're trying to show them, hey, look, you see what's happening. Because isn't it amazing that all we see is that it's just getting worse.
Man, bro, Kerry.
You're breaking up, brother Rojo.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, let me tell you about my family, if I may share about mine. My my mom's. I mean, she is. She speaks of us almost in a pejorative or a mocking term,
Mm-hmm.
like anything that we as Jews, as well as the rest of the brothers and sisters who are on code with us within the diaspora, she doesn't, take too seriously. And I remember, and I hate to bring up another name on your platform, but I was listening to Black Alpha Network last night, and there was a brother Sage who said that um, it's kind of like because we have been there and done that so many times before, patient, if you want to call it that, with the Marcus Garveys and the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, on down to the BLA, even in the 90s with Sister Soldier and Brother X and all of them, that
Mm-hmm.
it's just become a point to where it's more like a comic punchline now in the eyes of some of our own people. I expect that coming from the Gentiles, but not from our own people. I mean, this awakening is too widespread. And even if they're not waking up to who they really are, as far as, you know, Judah, FBA, the brothers and sisters amongst, within the diaspora, at the very least, they're waking up to, getting on code with each other. And, it frustrates me that my family can't see that, but yet some Gentiles can see that. And if for no other reason than to have a free ticket, to leave this country, because they're literally scared, carriers. They are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I say they're terrified, sometimes you can see little wet spots forming in the fronts of their pants. They're so scared, and I'm not even being comical when I say that. You know, they
No.
they're really frightened. And It's
Well,
just
I'm going to tell you the developments of what's happened in the last like literally 48 hours has scared them. You could tell that they were scared when we were talking about China and Russia with the visit in Moscow that just happened over the last 48 hours. It's a real fear. It is a real fear. Brother Dave and then Brother Shaul. Brother Dave, what do you think? What have you seen from your family? Just I would say, with what's going on, especially in these last couple of uh, these last couple days.
Good morning, family. How y'all doing this morning? Sister Chantel, my brother Rojo, Michael, um,
Good morning, Dave.
Yah Israel, and you, Karis. Listen, I haven't even really talked to my family. I mean, we've talked about this, like the most, we've talked about this years ago. I haven't
Hmm.
really talked to them too much, you know. Um, the only person I think I've talked to is my kid. I talked to her and told her what was going on. I told her, listen, if something happens and I can't get in touch with you, I told her get the hell out the country.
Hmm.
You know, go to Africa. I've been trying to talk to her and tell her go to Africa. She travels around the whole world,
Hmm.
and I told her, sit down with your old man and leave the country, get out. I said I don't really care too much what happens to me. I said as long as you're out, whatever happens is gonna happen.
Hmm.
You know. But I'm at my wits end trying to talk to people. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really at my wits end, and part of it is the shame I take on myself because I feel as though I haven't done enough to try and convince him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the weight that I bear on my shoulders. And I said, I have to minimize the damage that I'm taking because I'm taking the full weight of this responsibility. Listen, I'm failing at trying to convince these people, but you can't. You can't convince them. So the thing I said, you know what, I'm going to just have to sit back and wait and see what the Lord does.
Hmm.
And I got cameras outside my house, so I'm watching to see who's going to pull up at my house first.
Hmm.
And I'll handle it when it happens. But man, it's tough. And just like when Garth was talking earlier in the year about how he's beside himself trying to talk and deal with people, and I was trying to tell Garth, we all going through the same thing, and I can't. I'm not handling my disappointment any different than he's handling it, and he's half my age.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to deal with. And I'm just waiting on the good Lord to see what's going to happen next because I really have no choice.
hey, Karis, can I ask you a question? And it's a
Hmm.
serious question. And okay, let's say if we got reparations tomorrow, let's say if that happened, we look at our bank account have a piece. Do you think that would be enough to convince our families to say, "Hey, look here, here's Genesis 15, and we've gone through this before." Do you think that would be enough to convince them to come on and
I'm going to say this, just quite truthfully. Absolutely not. What that
Exactly.
does is it
No.
actually becomes a a factor that further cements or solidifies their destruction here. You got to remember, and that's why I really believe that they weren't going to pay that $5 million reparations, because what that really does is that it will cement people into Babylon, right? When what the Most High is doing, he's trying to get his people out of here and out of that mindset, that mind frame. So what our people do is great that Babylon loves me because see, it gave me, these trinkets, right? And they're just gonna look. they're going to reinvest and go even harder for Babylon. And the idea that the Most High is doing is no, he's rescuing his people. And I knew that, in my heart of hearts, I said, it's not going to happen. Anything with any type of reparation talk, it's going to sound good, but it's not going to ever happen. Because why? Because that's not the order. The order is, look, it's going to be pride from their hands. Do you get what I'm telling you? Micah 5, look, we're trampling down on them. And when I'm trampling down on them, I'm going to see who's wearing gold jewelry. Hey, kids, pick that up. What's that shining? Get that diamond. I'm gonna be picking over some things, on my way to getting up on out of here.
Well, I just
But
got to give it a date. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kara.
yeah, but that's what I believe is what we see in scripture, but I see it all come in the past because here's the thing. Now these hardships are going to really start happening because here's the thing. What were we not even talking about earlier this month? We weren't even talking about any type of bank failures and things of that nature. And they're still raising interest rates, which means the bank failures are going to get even worse. They're going to be even more systemic. And at the very same time, these folks in Ukraine, oh my goodness, they're about to get rolled over. And it's funny because I had said this a couple weeks ago. I said they're not showing all of their cards in Ukraine. And then, a lot of these, military type channels that try to have some sort of analysis, they're getting the reports from the ground and they're saying it. Yeah, they do something and then they do an operational pause, which means they're really not fighting. They'll just have a skirmish here and there. And then when they really want to do a push, we're talking about the Russians. When the Russians really want to do a push, then what ends up happening is they'll push, they'll grab what they need to grab, and then they'll pull back. They're not going for a victory. They're going for just getting folks in the trenches and getting them used to warfare against an actual adversary. That's all they're doing. It's literally just like it's OJT, right? It's literally on the job training. They're getting an on the job training. Okay, this is what we do. This is how we do it. This is what we do. This is how we do it. Why? Because when we do the real offensive and we do this real push, then we're gonna work like this. You got to remember, their principality is a bear. So guess what their tactics are gonna be like? A bear. What do bears do? Bears will sniff at you, then they'll go back. They'll look at you, smell you, kind of bite at you, and then they'll go back.
The bear hasn't gone for the jugular yet. And bears, they go
Bingo.
for the fattiest parts of the body. They go after the buttocks, they go after your stomach. That's how they kill. I was literally watching some show about bear attacks. So it's like they go for where, you know, the fat, the fat of the land, the fat, the money, the thing that makes you rich, that fills you up. That's what they're gonna go for before they even take out your jugular. It's
Do
like
you see what I'm saying? Yes. Y'all get this? This is how these principalities work. And all they're doing is they're just mimicking their principality. Why do you think it's the eagle, right? The dirty bird, right? A haunt of every unclean bird. Why? Because this nation's a bird. Why do you, look? If I know here in Florida, there's always someone that has a little, you know, window that has a bird and God we trust with the bird and everything else, and it's like all you're doing is you're just emulating your principality. You're serving your God. I serve my God, the bird, the eagle. You get what I'm saying? And that's really, they're not even understanding what they're doing. right? Because that's the idol that they're literally worshiping, and they don't even understand they're worshiping their idol, right? And then they'll have a gun sticker or something, some 6 hour or or other sticker there, Colt, Smith and Wesson, you know. So that's the thing that we're seeing as we're looking at all this. Brother Shaul, any updates for us?
Shalom, family. Yahuah bless. Surviving, family. Surviving.
Were you able to get to Raleigh?
Yes, sir. Here at the shelter.
Good,
Settling in at the shelter.
good,
Uh, it's gonna take some time getting out this hole. But it's coming along.
good, good. I said I wanted to hear some updates. That's a good update. So what have you? So you've been able to get your paperwork in. You've been able to get things applied for.
Yes. They assigned me a counselor, so he's
Yes.
helping me get Section 8 housing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he set me up for an interview for a position where I will be sitting down be a secretary
Okay.
now. So I'm wanting to hear about that.
Good. Good. Yeah. There's remote jobs and everything else. That's good. And I wanted to make sure. Look, we 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 always want to see our people progressing, right? And that's the whole truth of the matter here. The and I wanted to let people know, what it is that you've been up to get to where you need to get to, because at the end of the day, look, you're being blessed to do what? To be a blessing to others, right? So we're going to see your blessings take place, and it's all encouragement. It is all encouragement. So thank you, brother Shaul, for the update. I'll go ahead and I'll paste
One more
his.
thing, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
my counselor told me about a used car he has.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's offering the sell it to me for a very low rate, about 150. But the money that was raised, I used it to get to Raleigh and to get my foot in the door with Second Eight. So they're ways offering to sell me the used car for $150. So I'm trying to find somewhere to raise it.
Okay. I'm gonna put his cash app in the chat, family. Let's help our brother raise the funds. All right. I'm glad that he didn't say that it's $150 a month, for like 28 years. That like that one sister that got taken advantage of. That was a shame. That was a shame. But yeah, no, yeah, let's help our brother on out. He's getting to where he needs to get to. A little help is something that everybody needs. So, all right. So I'll have that later in the chat. Hallelujah. Brother Michael,
Shalom, family.
shalom.
How you all doing?
What's up, Mike?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Shalom,
Uh,
Messiah.
Shalom, brother.
yeah. Um, to your question, we were just talking about that yesterday with brother Oral, and brother James. And I look at it like this. Um, we're the forerunners of that process. and the family already know who you are, what you believe in. They gonna call you everything up under the sun except the child of God, as they say. And I have seen that. But when it's all over and it's said and done, when they start to realize that, hey, they've been telling the truth. And just like what Dave said, they go come running. They go come running to you because, hey, you were saying this, you were saying that. Did you do anything in Africa? It's going to happen. It ain't if, it's going to happen. History shows this. You can sit up here and say this and say that, and then boom, people, they tend to come back to you because you were the first one to say it. And if you're the first one to say it, and they starting to see events pull out the way it's going, they go back to the first person who said it. They're not talking about the second or the third. They go to that first one. And we are those ones. So my point of saying it is that it is kind of discouraging. It is discouraging when you talk to your family. You can share scriptures from A to Z, and you can add some other letters on by yourself, and it's just frustrating. And you be like, "You don't see this?" And it got to a point with me, and it was just frustrating. I was like, "Man, I just shut up, and I just let my action show what I believe in, and then once everything hits the fan, then you'll believe." We were just talking, what was that, last week, Tuesday? And I said this, I said, brothers, let's just see what happened in next week, Tuesday, from now. I think it was you and Chantel. We was talking about that.
Yes, you did say that.
Yes.
You did say that.
And you see, do you see literally how much then transpired from that time up to now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, it's mind-boggling. It is. And brother, the sad thing about this is that I talk with a lot of African brothers. Just yesterday, I spoke with a brother from Ghana, and the other brother, he's from Cameroon. They are the most difficult people to convince of what's happening in the United States. I'm talking about some Nigerians too, because
what do they think has been happening?
They thinking that the United States is going to take care of Russia. This is their literal thinking. And you know what? But this how I get them, Chantel. This is how I get them. I said, you basing it on the money that you making. You probably not used to making the money you're making in Africa, but you see it here and you sending a son back to your family. I said, you're basing it off of money. I said, if that money was not an issue, you will not be thinking this way. But both of them, and one Nigerian sister, she said, I was telling her, she said, oh no, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke that. I was like, he's the one who said he was going to destroy this system.
Oh my
So what are you talking about, sis? I mean, it's a very dangerous way of thinking. And I think that I'm gonna have to say it this way: American black-born people, our forefathers been here for so long, and we just know who our oppressors are, and we hone in on that. We know it. They do not know it. But due to the lack of respect that we've been getting from African nations, they don't think that what we're saying to them is true.
Yep. They don't think it's true.
No, they do not.
because they don't believe that people can be so evil. That's why when you are in, look, I'm not saying that we're a pure people, but in comparison to these people, we're saints. Like literally, we are the saints. So I mean, I had a tough time waking. When I woke up, it was hard to wrap my head around the fact that these people spent hundreds of years, centuries, hiding everything and lying to our faces.
Hmm.
That's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, think back to when you woke up, when you found out this. It's not so much the thing that breaks it is the lies. And then when you're uncovering everything, it's like, oh my gosh. And there's more lies upon more lies upon more lies. And it's like, that's what it is. That you need to be. I'm not a patient person. A lot of people know this, but you need to be patient.
'Cause it's a
I know it's so funny.
process. It's a
You need to.
process.
It is a process because it's like it's hard. We all went through it. We all went through it. We went through it, and it's trying to unravel those lies. For them, it's like because and another thing because they're not in the midst of their oppressors, so it's going to be even harder for them, and they've been groomed to believe that white is right and that if it comes out of, like Dante said, truth, it's only true if it comes out of a white pill bottle. So it's hard for them. It really is hard because they've also been indoctrinated. We've lived this. You guys have lived it on your end. We've lived it here on our end and in the Caribbean, right? So we know what it's like to be under the regime of these people. They don't. They had them, but they're not in their faces like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're not in their faces like that all the time. So it's like, and then also their education system is as such that it teaches them that, well, this they went over there to find a better life, and then you've got the things like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air and Different World and all these other different
Mhm.
shows where it just shows the excellency of black people. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like it's kind of one-sided and it doesn't
That's another
really portray
program.
the
Hmm.
truth.
Yeah, that's
So they
another.
think exactly, they think that this is it. You guys, what are you complaining about? You got your, we want to come over and we want to be able to make it. And then when they make it, when they do make it over there, when they come over and they see the reality, there it's like they suffer from the same disassociation. It's like,
It's
well,
a
how
spiritual
is it?
possession. It's a
It's
spiritual
it's that, but
possession.
it's
That's
it's
what it
it's it's the fact that they are trying to make sense of the fact that how is it I've seen you do so well, but then I'm here and you lot are like in the what's wrong with you? Pick up yourself off your feet and do what you need to do. And that's why they will probably say, oh, well, I've come over here and I've made something of myself. How is it you haven't? But because when I saw in my land, you were doing so well. So what's going on? It's that
Yeah,
cognitive dissonance.
yeah, it is. And I want to ask Sister Nubian Mean because I know she's from the islands, especially when she's come over to America, right? And you know, having that understanding, and then it gets jaded, So for
Oh
so,
yeah.
yeah, so explain that,
There.
and then also explain, what is it looking like for your family as they're seeing, all of these recent developments.
Well, I'm sorry about the echo. I'm working down south right now. Thank you. It's an interesting, complicated situation because even from the Haitian perspective, you got Haitian Catholics, you got Haitian Protestants, you got Haitian plus, you got roots Haitians, and then everybody will say they practice voodoo. They practice the voodoo. So it is a process. Like I remember, waking up, I would say 2009 waking up to who we are, waking up to the truth, thinking about all this stuff, even what great grandma was saying, like, wow. But my family would think, oh, you're crazy, you're tripping, blah, 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 blah. What happens is, like the elder brother said, just you watch and wait, and you just have to just act accordingly. You just have to just be in that regardless, even when people are making fun of you, even in your family. I mean, because, some families will rip you apart. Haitian families, Latin American families, so it's really about knowing the scripture, seeing the signs, letting ones know, and especially the young ones, because that's most important. Because the young ones, they hear your family talk about you, but these young ones, they end up becoming young adults. And those are the ones who I have found through the decade or so call me, hey, Tati Nunu, I know, hey, can you pray for me? Hey, Tati Nunu, what do you think about this? Hey, so it's such a super complicated situation, but especially with Haitians coming from so many different points of views. Ironically, though, like when you look at, again, I'm not into the hoodoo or anything like that. That stuff is still a very perverse version, completely perverse version of even the simplicity of what we as Afro Shemitic, Afro Hebrew people, there's still a remnant. So when we really get down to it, what I've learned is when you pull back all the curtains, you forget the saints, the gods, the Orishas, the blah blah blah. You get out of all that crap that has been embedded and layered, and really see that a lot of us are the Levitical priests in our household. A lot of us are the ones that see it, cleaning, clean the spiritual thing, announce, you know what I'm saying? Whether we're cleaning it kind of in the spiritual realm, not necessarily, we're not killing goat, we're not killing bulls or goats. Some of people in Haiti and in the islands in Brazil, they still under the old law. That's why they still caught up and they got so confused. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah,
They
so
got so
it's a
confused.
perversion. Exactly.
Yes.
Everything had
Yes.
been perverted, and all these perversions were here,
But we
right?
are
It
the
just got
salt. Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm so sorry, brethren. But with Christ, with Yeshua, with Mashiach, we really do, it's that process when we start becoming aware of who we are and start building that relationship with our Redeemer, with the High Priest, with our King of Kings, with Yeshua. Then we start understanding what our purposes are within our family, within our community, within the outside realm. Just like Yeshua showed, walked, and as the apostles did that, just because he just like this brother right now, brother in Riley, the Spirit of the Most High, the Ruach Hakodesh, has him out there on a mission. You had to get out of that, dust off your shoes, dust off your. The Most High got you out, and the Most High is blessing you. So we have to understand where we're put is where we need to be. And sometimes we just have to be put in our families, and we got to be put in their face. So when that time is revealed, that prophet that was in their household, that brother, that uncle, that cousin, that auntie, that sister, that you, Christ's word, God's word, shown through you, and you were given the blessing to receive it and share it. Everything else is up to everybody else's choice, but they cannot say when judgment happened, they weren't told, because we're all ambassadors to the kingdom of Yeshua. Thank you, Brother Karis. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Brother Bethel or Betzal.
Yeah, shalom, family, shalom. Hey, man, you up my alley this morning, and Sister Chantel, I feel you. I just wanted to share something. I'm gonna get personal here, just maybe it may help somebody else. This is a set apart situation for us, and it is a lonely life for me, very lonely. When I woke up, and I couldn't go to the church anymore. And my family, they were like, "You're not going." I was like, "No, I can't do it. I can't go in there anymore." And, they left me home and I was worshiping by myself. And so it caused a big problem out in my own household. I started throwing away the Christmas trees and getting rid of all the stuff, started keeping the feast days, throwing away the leaven and all that. Oh, my family was in an uproar. Their hair was on fire with me, right? And so I'm the head of the family. So I was trying to show them, and it seemed cruel, but I was doing it in love. I was like, look, we got to stop. We got to get away from this paganism, and honor the Most High. And I mean, it was pretty bad. And so it looks like, and it still is, where even from friends to family, I walk alone a lot, and so it makes me think of when, let's say, I feel like I'm yelling to the top of my vocals, and it's like they can't hear me. They're just walking and they can't hear me. And so I think of it also like the movie, they're like in the movie, what is it, the Titanic, when the ship was going down and the people were still playing the violins, and they just continued to play like, I mean, the ship wasn't going down. They just went down with the ship. So it's a devastating thing because you love them and you like, look, please, you got to see this. This is salvation. This is serious. And so I'll tell you, it's two scriptures that help me out. I mean, I'm still battling with it because you love people, So, but I would say Matthew, these are familiar scriptures. Matthew 10 and 34. Matthew 10 and 34, that helped me out, where it says, Messiah said, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace on the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be those of his own household." So whatever Messiah say is true. And it's another scripture like Jeremiah 30, 14 and 15. And he talks about how he says that, "Return, O faithless children, declares Yahweh, for I am your master. I will take one from a city and two from a family. I will bring you unto Zion." So those scriptures kind of help me because, I see that, okay, being set apart, it's going to be some turmoil. These people are not going to just go easy. They're not going to listen. I have dreams, prophetic dreams that I tell them. And I'm like, even was told one time, I told a family member, I said, "Look, I had a dream that you died. And it was serious, and I knew it was a problem." And I said, and then the person didn't pay attention. A few days later, they said to me, that "I didn't really want to tell you that dream you had. I had a dream that my dead relative came to me and was saying, 'This is yours.'" Now that relative was a wicked person, and that relative came to them that same day that I said I had a dream and said, "This is your house now," giving them their house. So I was like, that's a wake-up call. But it still didn't help. Things remained the same. So I just want to encourage everyone that, hey, you're not alone in this. It's just what it is. So, even when I went to, and I'm gonna stop at this, even when I went over to Tanzania and I was telling them, I knew that it was like, this is something that I have to do. I have to, and my family didn't go with me. And I was told, they love America so much, I'm afraid I might not make it back. You go ahead by yourself. See, this is the kind of stuff that we deal with. So, Brother Karras, thanks for taking me in. I'm gonna stand in the back because I know you got other people. You could put me to the, into the back because I know you got a lot of people want to come in and everything. But I just wanted to share that with the family this morning.
Besto, before you go, I just wanted to say this to you. I literally quoted that verse to my mom this morning, and I was having the same kind of conversation with my mom. What we're talking about is what I was talking about with my mom this morning, and I was telling her about how lonely it was when I woke up. Nobody else was awake. People thought I was crazy. I literally quoted that verse.
Hallelujah.
I quoted quite a few scriptures, but that was one of them as well. And I'm telling you, we're talking. This is something that needs to be addressed. anytime I've noticed, and I know that Sister Sharonda and Sister Shauna can back me up here. There's been so many times where we've talked, and my mum as well. There's been so many times where we've talked, and either that same day or that same week, we're discussing it, or somebody's discussing it. Jacoba's discussing it. Karis is discussing it. Somebody is discussing it, or if we've got questions, somebody is discussing it and bringing the truth and the answer to what we were questioning and trying to figure out. So I'm telling you, the Holy Spirit is moving, and we need to really pay attention, because if the majority of us are feeling this way, then there's something that's about to happen. And like I said, that he woke us up pretty much the same time. He's going to shut our mouths. There's going to come a point. Remember, the scripture says in Amos that there's going to be a famine in the land, and it's not
Yes,
going to be of
yes.
bread or water, but it will be of the word. So, unfortunately, and I've been praying and crying and for years, but unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where those who don't want to hear, it's literally by the grace of the Most High. If they make it, they make it. Where those who are sealed are sealed. If they're not waking up, I don't see them waking up. I really don't. I think the last cry, the loud cry, as the Seventh-day Adventists would turn around and say, the loud cry was probably the Kyrie and the Kanye West situation, because that kind of rang out throughout the whole world. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, well, it says my sheep know my voice. So are they sheep or are they goat? And
Exactly.
the question is, I mean, what's on the floor is, okay, so, what is really family? Is family just those who are in your blood relatives that are close to you, or is family who we are together right here on this panel and others who are in Yeshua? So
Mm.
that's what's on the floor here. So we have to focus. Like, really, I gotta realize that. I mean, my immediate family may not just be my family. So like I know Almighty Yahweh willing, but before this year is out, I'm gone. I'm gonna be in the motherland, away from this place, our land of captivity. But at this point, my family is not going with me. They just not going with me. Unbelievable. I just cannot believe it. I didn't set things in place for them. I didn't just. It's nothing else I can do. I didn't kicked. I didn't begged. I didn't stomped. I said we got to change our ways. We got to. They're not going with me. They're ignoring me. So
They'll
I got.
get there soon, I believe.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
all right,
don't
family.
get
Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Shalom. I'm gonna go into the back for somebody else, but thank you, brother Karis, for allowing me to come in.
all right. Shalom. Yeah, don't get discouraged about what your family's at in the present, right? Because at the end of the day, it's always the Most High that provides everything. He's the one that does it. And you want to know why he's the one that does it? Because let me tell you, he is going to be the one that gets the glory for what he does. Okay? We don't do anything except for speak truth and peace. But he's the one that does what? He changes the hearts of man. So when we think that we're going to try and do something or change something, we have to be very careful of our jobs. And our job description is very clear. Give it to the Most High and let him do. All right, brother Don P. I know you've been on the runway for a little bit, so let's get this plane up in the sky.
Oh, man, I'm just listening to everyone this morning. Most times been waking me up like really
Can
early
you
the
can you
last few days. The last
can you
few
get your
days, the
mic
most
up a
high
little
really,
bit?
yeah, I might have to switch headsets. Uh, for some reason, this one doesn't do well at StreamYard. I don't know why. But, just listening to everybody, man, I think, I think we have a different assessment, um, than reality. I think the assessment that we have is because of the fact that we tend to live in the echo chamber. We tend to hear our brothers and sisters that are awake because this is where we live. We live on these different channels, and run these different streets where it's pretty homogenous. But the reality is, when we get out into the world of melanated people, most of them don't know. Most of them don't know. Most of them don't care. Most of them are lulled to sleep. They're very comfortable in Christianity, and that's a huge problem. Like everyone has been saying, and the only way I can give you a gauge is by this. My grandmother had 32 grandchildren. I'm 58. So everybody's, around my part. So now we got all these generations that are below us. They've all been brought up in nations of their family. And so here you come wearing sackcloth and eating wild berries and honey out in the wilderness. And they're like, who is this dude? But the Most High made some things clear to me. When we depart and go onto the continents, we are going as ambassadors because they don't know. And that blows me away. The ignorance on the continent of the fact of who we are. That blows me away. I think that the Most High has woken us up at this time for such a time as this. And we've got to do what he calls us to do. If he's calling us to go to the continent, to be the trailblazers, to be the ones to lay the foundation for our people to go, be like, oh, wow, he really did go. But then also, when we get over there, they got to know why we're there. They're still too busy loving up on Mommy and Zaddy and loving them some Caesar Borgia. That's all got to change. They have to, and the reason why we have to go there beforehand is because they have to know that there's going to be a bunch of people following us, and it's almost like being the apostles and going to our people and proclaiming the bazaar of truth. And that's kind of what really has been in my spirit because I'm just shocked. I am absolutely shocked about where the stage that we're at in the game, and so many players don't even know that they're on the field. So the most High has given us a work to do. I I don't shun anymore. I know. I understand. I understand. We have a lot of work to do, brothers and sisters. We have a lot of work to do. And so, Kiers, thank you for letting me come on. If you need to put me back and let somebody else come up, that's cool. Just bring me back up on the closing thoughts. Um, but we have to be encouraged in this time, and I just want y'all to be encouraged. Invest in Kleenex. Invest in Kleenex because there's going to be a lot of tears, and I learned that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of our people that look. The Most High knows what he's doing. Our people are hard headed. They're hard headed for a reason. This is why we're in captivity. We were always going to be like this. When people said, I remember this awakening, it was going to be everybody's going to be awakened, and then we're going to leave because we're all going to be awakened, and there it is. All of these philosophies, all these different things, these different theories that they're trying to push on out. And then you realize what the word says, and it says we're going to be weeping, leaving out of here. Weeping for who? For Babylon. And then we're going to be asking ourselves, which way is it designed? Because why? Because we're going to be getting kicked out of here. It's not weeping because we we wanted to stay, or we wanted to leave. It was weeping because honestly, I think it's because our people will want to stay, but they get kicked out. They get forced out. There's a mechanism that causes us to leave. That's why when he says in his words that he will regather, see, people don't understand that he uses things. He uses people. He uses armies, right? He uses nations for his purpose. Well, I don't think so. I think it's going to be the Most High himself. You know, that whole argument was like, well, didn't he use Babylon to judge Israel? You get what I'm saying? So their argument is so weak because even in the word, you can see how the Most High operates. Brother
And
Garth, and then
Karis,
let me get to Brother Garth and then Brother Oral, and I'll open it up to a wider aperture. So yeah, hold tight, newbie and me, and I'll get back to you after those two. Brother Garth.
thank you.
Shalom, bro. Yeah. Um, as far as like us in the diaspora getting it and them on the continent not getting it, um, I don't know. I always have felt like a middle child because my parents came from Grenada and immigrated here, and I was born here, so they thought of me as American, whereas other people, if I told them I'm from the islands, they would think I'm an islander. So I've always had that like um, identity crisis until I was in Israel. So I'll always claim Israel over anything. But as far as my family, um, it is pretty sad. Like I see my brother doing things. Um, like he just got engaged. All these other things are going on in his life, so he's distracted right now. Um, my mom, I try to tell her. I think she knows, but she's just afraid and you know, just I don't know what her problem is really, honestly. But I keep on praying for them. As far as my other family, I always have felt like the black sheep or whatever. And as people are saying, my family's Catholic, so that's a stronghold in and of itself. So when I was, waking up and telling them about us being Hebrews and how Catholicism put us in bondage, and us from the Caribbean, we're like actually descendants of David, and they especially took us from Portugal. I showed them all the proof, and it is what it is. But I mean, the only people I'm holding out hope for, because even like when we were younger, my cousins would kind of make fun of me because I'd always be the one thinking outside the box. But now I see that they kind of respect me and are kind of open minded. So hopefully they'll listen to me. They already see what's going on, they can't deny it. So I'm just hoping out help for my younger cousins. And then, I mean, some of them are just lost. My other cousin, she sounds like a complete feminist. So I don't know if she's going to wake up. It's pretty sad. It's a pretty sad situation, but I pray for them. And, at this point, I'm just trying to get myself in order to be able to make it out of here and pray on that, and just keep myself busy here. Honestly, it is really depressing here. If you're single and trying to start a family in here in Babylon, or you want to try to do something like I feel like my life is on hold, if that makes sense. If I don't know, but not that I'm like putting it on hold, but
Makes sense to me, Garth.
everything that's going on, like I could only really worry about myself and about my relationship with the Most High. I realized a part of that's like a part of like the growth that you're speaking about. Like when I focus too much on what's happening with my family, and especially what I see with our people and this gender war and all that stuff, that's really what's making me down. Seeing us fight each other and still like fall for these stupid tactics that Babylon is still instilling. It's still working. It's just like I'm just tired of this trick and pony show. It's like you're in a marathon sitcom, and it keeps on going and going and going until you know what, we're not going to show this show anymore. Hopefully the sitcom marathon ends soon in Babylon. And that's all I have to say.
It's like Groundhog's Day.
Exactly, brother Oral.
Good day, everybody. I mean, it's so good to hear the people like Sister Chantel, Nubian Me, Dave, Don T, of course, the host of the hour. Oh my goodness, it's a blessing for me. I'm excited about all that's going on. I've been talking to my brother Mike, my brother Brooklyn Brew, and we're just planning and moving in the right direction. And the other day Yakoba said something very interesting. He said, him and his brother, whatever door the Most High opens, they walk through it, and that's basically what I've been doing. And so, me personally, I am in such dire financial strain now, but at the same time, I'm so excited because the Most High is closing all these doors that He's used to just busting open for me here, and that's telling me personally that I should be moving towards the continent. And it seems like every time now that I'm making plans towards the continent, everything is falling into place. So me personally, I'm not gonna, and this is a personal thing. I'm not gonna use my tears to worry and fret about these people here that don't want to listen and don't want to wake up, because eventually they'll wake up. And if you remember from the first Exodus, when Moses went to the leaders and the people, they didn't just jump on and believe him right away. There were some stiff neckedness going on there. That's why the Most High told them different things to say. When they ask who's this God, tell him I am who I am, and so on and so forth. So we, like someone said earlier, we're stiff necked people. We're stubborn people. I mean, it's a good attribute in some cases, but in a lot of other cases, it's not such a good attribute, especially when the Most High is telling you to move. So for me, all these calamity with the bank raising interest rate and this market finally tanking, all that stuff. I mean, to me, honestly, it's kind of exciting because that means that His word is coming to pass, and I'll rest on that.
Yeah. So, brother Oral, with you being in the financial industry,
Uh huh.
are you now feeling those ripple effects?
Of course, you see it. You see it going out, and I mean, some of the best products, and for me personally, because I have a relationship with the Most High, like indexed annuities, that you get some of the gains of the market, but none of the losses of the market. I feel uncomfortable telling someone about, oh yes, don't worry, because when the market recovers, you're gonna get all the gains, but none of the losses, and all these wonderful things about an index annuity. I feel funny to tell somebody about that now, and I think the Most High is bringing me out of this, and that's why He's closing all these doors, so I don't have to tell someone something that I know is not a strong possibility it's going to continue the way it has been. So for me, it's just another sign that I need to be out of here. And like I said, the way the doors have opened from January to now, my comprehension of is can I first my
You're
cousin,
breaking
and
up.
I meet a guy
You're
that goes back and
breaking up.
forth from Georgia to
I wanted to ask Brother
how
Oral
about
something.
now?
Yeah,
Am
he's
I
just
still
breaking
breaking
up.
up?
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Can I ask you something, Brother
Am
Oral?
I still
Can you
breaking up?
probably
Now
can
you
hear
sounding
you?
better.
Can I ask you something? Is he still there? I think he's gone into light speed again.
Hmm. Brother Oral
Yeah,
must
the
be over
clones
by
got
Disney
him.
World. You must
The
be over
clones
by
got him.
Disney World, brother Oral. All right, I Brooklyn Brew, and then sister, I'm gonna get to sister New being me, and then you, sister Chantel. Brooklyn Brew,
Okay.
shalom.
Shalom, blessings panel. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Um basically I've come to the point I'm more leaning just like Sister Chantel. Um at this point I'm locked in on Yah. I've been talking to family and they feel how they feel and I'm gonna let them be in their feelings. I'm gonna lock in on Yah and follow him and I'm not gonna worry about people because you can miss the kingdom trying to pull people. It's like I'm looking at it like when Yah told Abraham to leave, he told him to leave by like, and he chose to bring Lot. So I'm just gonna I'm just at a point now. I'm trying to liquidate everything that I have, and I'm gonna look at it like maybe I'm preparing the way for family or whoever is gonna come later. But I'm I'm done with Babylon, man. Like they don't have any more toys, no more rattles, no more tricks, no more David Copperfields for me. Like I know what it is. And I'm praying that y'all like, it be his will. I can leave out of here on my own terms. But like, yeah, that's it for me. It's just like they stuck in a stupor, and I'm not gonna miss my way out of here trying to wait around, trying to convince people to come with me. That's
Yeah,
my feelings
it's
on that, brother.
brother Brooklyn Brew. I I like that what you said. The stupor, right? It is a stupor, and it's hard because it's like we see, man, all these things in the world that's going on, and it's like, man, we can't shake anybody. It's like I think of the old school, what is it, school days, wake up. you know it's
Yeah,
like,
Spike Lee.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's like, but these folks, they don't want to look at anything, and that everybody's bank accounts are getting smaller, because you want to know why? Because of inflation. But what is inflation doing? It's getting more. Because why? Because they're getting cut off from the continent. Have you actually understood what's going on? Their money isn't the way it was, is because the resources aren't there and available like it had been before. And this is something it's actively being done. This
you know,
is warfare. Yeah, go
Brother
ahead, Brooklyn Brew.
Karras, yeah, I'm sorry. Something else that I realized, and it took me a while to realize it, but it's something I'm really realizing that, like, people like us, we diaspora in America, we don't realize we're in captivity.
Mm-mm.
We really don't realize that. I look at these, I'm on YouTube doing a lot of research and a lot of times, and I see these Africans, man, they don't have nothing. But they happy, man. Like, I mean, legitimately happy. They're out there dancing barefoot, but they're happy. And I'm like, I got all this junk. I'm not happy. I'm not close
Yeah.
to being happy.
That's right, a beautiful prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now it's not even beautiful.
Yep.
The prison has
When
gone.
you
They stopped the maintenance of the prison. The prison maintenance has gone down.
that's right. When you wake up, you realize it's not beautiful. You realize it's sickly, so
This like they're getting more and more mean, man.
Yeah, because you want to
More
know
and
why?
more.
Because the world is collapsing. See, the thing is, you have to understand, they know their world is collapsing, but psychologically, they're not going to be able to say that their world is collapsing. You want to know what the craziest thing is? When you look at the word and you see what and how Babylon falls so quickly, Babylon literally falls in an instant. Do you get what I'm telling you? It literally falls in an instant. Because what happened? Remember with Cyrus, right? When the Medes and the Persians came up, and they did what? They just took over the Babylonians. They literally dropped their sword, and then they opened the gate. Like, all right, as long as people aren't dying, we're cool. What do you think is going to happen there? They're broadcasting to you what this thing's going to look like. Because why? Because they're already here. They've already look. Shout out to brother Yakoba, man. Those folks in those pickup trucks, I wonder if I could show you Dabu. You know, I'll probably get kicked. I'll probably get a white circle. They're coming on over. And these folks are coming on over. These are Chinese
Yep.
fighting age males.
Yep.
Listen, I'm not joking, brother Karras. I see them a lot more around here in Jersey where I'm living, and I've literally saw a gang of them in the library while I was studying like the other day, and I'm just like, it was
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah, you saw a gang of them putting together some battle plans.
Did you say a gang?
Oh, that was just like as a vernacular, not as in like a gang,
I
like
know,
an
I know, I
organization.
know, I know, but this is funny.
Oh, okay.
So
The vision
yeah,
in my head is just it's crazy. So I can see them clicking
so
their fingers and everything.
yeah. So Sister New being me, you know, the I guess that'll be the what the western state of the Chinese Republic or whatever is going to be going on there in California.
I was like, yeah, it looked like it's gonna be a territory of, Chinese, since they invested so much of their bodies to the railroad station, along with our African brothers and sisters too, and the Native Americans. So well, it looks like that. But what I wanted to say, interesting that we're talking about history, is I wanted to talk to our island people and all of us, because look, we're really so blessed that everything is a process. Our great grandmothers, our grandmothers, some of us remember our grandmothers telling us that we are the people in the book. We are, you know, even in the islands, the different experiences in mainland, I would say like the American continent right here, in the mainland and the islands, is that um, a lot of us, and I'm talking to Garth and Oral and probably Sister Chantal too, a lot of our families knew that we were what we would at that time we would call Black Jews or Jews, but it was a very secretive thing. I mean, it was like lockdown. I mean, I remember growing up, even some family members. The one thing that was family members, because we had like Manischewitz and matzah bread. Does anybody recall that? So a lot of us, whether it was like from
No, she's
Ethiopia
right. I
or
had that when I was younger.
Syria or Jordan, but it was so secret that they were hiding even in the islands. Now, what happened now, the African Hebrews, African Jews who knew themselves on the island, everything was fine. We were just growing. It wasn't until the late 1800s, I think pre-Zionist movement, when they were trying to figure out where they're going to have their little Israel. Is it going to be Uganda? Is it going to be Palestine? Is it going to be here? Is it going to be there? There were some rabbinical people who came to the islands, and they caused a lot of separation between people, families that were of multi-ethnic, multicolor, but we all knew we were of Juif or Jewish or Hebrew descent. We have to remember that that actually happened in the islands. Now, on the mainland, I think it was how it happened on the mainland was revival, the revival time. Now, whether that was like Ellen G. White and all these other people, the Holy Spirit was moving people into that thought too at the same time. So, again, we're in this process. We've been in a wave. We're coming to the last crashing of the wave. And even through this technology, we are gathering up and sharing information as family members who've been dispersed. I mean, I just find it super fascinating. And like the brother said, you remember the Manischewitz and the matzah bread. Now, a lot of our families, believe it or not, came from Ethiopia, Jordan, Syria, Palestine, the same places that the European Japhites or the Ukrainians or the other Jays have been coming from. It's just now here. It's kind of really, but again, this process. Now, Karis, I sent you a video just to show you how the process, did you see that UN video that I showed you that uh, African leader addressed the UN in 63 dealing with the same thing? Just again to show how, again, even us speaking on this panel, it's a blessing for the Black Hebrew Israelites who started their Wentworth, Rod Fords, and all those back in the 20s and the 30s. So we are going through a process. We shouldn't be. We should be very encouraged because we've come very far, family. We've come very far, Hebrew family, and
You
this
being
wave
me.
is going to crash them out.
You
Yes,
being
yes,
me.
Bridget.
I have a question. You said that we're coming from where the Ukrainians are coming from. What do you mean?
No, I'm saying the same people who came onto the islands, believe it or not, like in Haiti and Jamaica, a lot of them were Russians or, the 13th tribe, that type of, you remember that book? Do you ever
Oh,
know that book, the 13th tribe? Yeah, a lot of them were like carpetbaggers that came and disrupted what was happening with us natural East African, East Middle, whatever they call it, the Middle East African Jews, Hebrews on the island. Am I making sense? Does that make sense? A lot of
yeah.
that Bolshevik, I don't know what to call it, communist, pre-Zionist,
Yeah, and it
Ukrainist,
was, and that's been
you
that's
know,
actually been documented to
Right.
where we would have established our religious customs and things of that nature, and then they always come on in there, then they always take it on over, and then they always change the narrative, and they'll change the historical.
rabbinical, change it rabbinical,
Yeah,
start focusing on the Talmud,
yeah,
and it becomes a
exactly, and
S
that's
show.
bingo. And it always
But
and it always happens. That's why they're mad now, is because now we've done the research, because you got to remember a lot of that information was in Spain, Portugal, Italy, right, parts of France, and it was in that particular language, right. So shout out to Benny Israel when he has the information of um, the square of where all the Israelites would gather, and there was always black folks, and the traditional um, information that was written down, especially in Portuguese, is that there were always black folks of what, of the African stock. They made a distinction. So when they say that there's color, no, the problem is, oh crap, it's color because we should have omitted that. That's what they get mad about. They get mad about what they forgot to omit. If they really,
no,
if we really want to put it into proper context. Oh well, now we got to make it a color thing because man, we forgot to omit it. We were lazy. We didn't think that people were gonna, really be in this time that they're gonna try to up and understand this, and now there's a lot of backpedaling. And I see this. I see it in these Facebook groups. The biblical rumble room, somebody had posted, it's like, look, this proves that Jews were actually white, and then it's like all the sources are always in the 1860s, but you give them a source that's older, then they get mad because they understand they have to go back to where they had converted. See, you can't give, they don't like the old sources because it shows who they came from, it shows their stock, it shows their lineage. Because why? Because it's all in accordance with Jeremiah chapter 17, especially Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 5, where what? Our heritage was given to our oppressors.
yeah.
It's
Hey,
funny, bro,
brother,
because I know who you're
brother
talking
Terrace, can I
about. That
say
brother
something?
Tezra is always giving them those old sources about the black Jews in Portugal. And I remember he made a video with, I think Dante helped with, like Dante curated it, or they had like a live, and he literally pointed out all the older sources showing that it was like irrefutable.
Oh
Brother
And
yeah,
Terrace, can I say something?
Tazra will be burning them up. Tazra will be burning them up. You
Brother
had
Terrace, can I
Dante, then
say
you had
something?
Tazra. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, brother War.
Yeah. You know, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed. You notice how every time I get on, it's really, really bad now. Anytime I'm actually traveling. Yesterday, and it started. No, it started day before yesterday. I was in the house where I usually have good reception because I'm on Wi-Fi, and the thing came back and said I have no data. I ran out of data. I was like, data? I've had this phone for over 20 years. I always had unlimited data on everything, so I never have. So I wouldn't have that issue because I have clients. And so I kind of ignored it because I was inside the house. And then the phone just pretty much went where I couldn't make a call even through Wi-Fi a call. And then the whole day, that's how it was. And when I got back to the house, I called Verizon. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I've always had unlimited data. What is this all about? They were looking and they came back and said, oh, well, it seems like we have some kind of issue with a tower in Orlando and it's affecting you up this way. And so they said we should have it fixed by tomorrow or something to that effect. Then yesterday, because this happened day before yesterday, then yesterday my wife's phone has started acting up and my phone would go in and out, in and out. So I say all of this to say this: the infrastructure is being attacked because Verizon is usually one of the strongest phone companies in America because they have the most towers. And all of a sudden now, it's like I'm all around my house, and as I'm coming here, I have no reception now. And it never used to be like that. I've been here for 3 years, and it's never like that. It's actually getting worse. So I'm thinking the infrastructure is being infiltrated some way, somehow, because this thing from 3 days ago in Orlando, and then I spoke to other people, and they're saying that it seems like their service is getting spotty. So all these people that's coming across the border, it's no coincidence. Things are heating up, but it's on such a low key level that we may miss it. But you mark my word, our infrastructure, our telecom is about to go down at some point.
I think they're throttling it back because I've noticed that too. It looks like they're throttling it back.
And yeah,
because I'm having a problem. I download a lot of stuff, and I notice my download speeds are slow as hell.
When you get to doing that downloading and things, turn off all of your equipment and go ahead and then download, because now you're dealing with wireless. So now you're using up bandwidth. I just left this lady house yesterday, and she had all 3 TVs on her wireless. I said, no, put at least 1 or 2 on the hard line where you don't use up your data. You would literally use up more data on wireless than you do on hard line.
But if you have unlimited, you shouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but then at the same time, now when they tell you that they got a tower that's down, never forget this. When a tower is down, your signal bounces to the next tower.
Yeah,
it bounces to the next tower. Period. Off the top until that one come back up, then they'll shoot it back to the original where you where the tower where your numbers usually work off of. But they're talking about that spotty stuff. No, but when it's now 2 or 3 of them, now you will have some issues.
But
you will have some issues.
But Mike, what I'm saying is it's gonna become more commonplace as time goes on. You mark it's gonna be more commonplace.
You look at what they're doing. They're attacking the electrical grid. They see these towers, and it's in order for those things to work, you're working off what we call a T1 or circuit, and that's when you're getting your number from. It's off a literal electrical circuit, and so hey, they attack that, yeah. But I was telling you yesterday, brother. No, if you had a butt set and if everything did hit the fan, hop on a telephone box and make a phone call to your family. Hey, we got this going on and things of that nature. It seems like it's impossible to do, but it can be done.
Mike, here's the thing. If you're the only one to have a butt set, you're only going to be able to communicate with other people that have a butt set or other people that have service. Because if when the system goes down, I'm not going to be able to call the other people because they're not going to have a phone to receive that call.
You would be surprised what you can do with a battery and 2 wires and a speaker.
You're right, Mike. But the thing is, other people have to know about the technology to be.
I understand that. But then because now they didn't got us so used to going in our pockets and pulling out a phone. That for that reason, yes.
That's like trying to operate a rotary phone for most folks. Like, what is this?
You're right. You're right. And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, communication is good, but then there's a bad side to it also. And I think
Hmm.
nowadays and where we at, it's like you have to let your family know beforehand
Mm-hmm.
where you going. If
Mm-hmm.
something hit the fan, this one I'm going to be at. Of
Right.
Well,
course, we know
family,
that once that communication is knocked down, it's
this is what I
it's a
would.
battle.
We have to start making preparations for even us, like to be able to communicate, because I believe at some point, the what's going to hit the fan, and we may not be able to have this conversation because, like I said, just traveling back here, it's like once I got like once you said, Brother Carriage, you're like, or you're breaking up. That was it, and I could not get back on all the way until I came and physically walked in the house, and it
Wow.
never used to be this bad for me, not even close. I used to just go right from my
Sound like
phone, right in the house
sound
having
like
a
we're gonna have
conversation. I can't even do that anymore.
sound like we're gonna
Maybe we
have to
should
have
all get some
Hebrew.
CDs.
We have to have some little satellites in different islands though. Since we got other island people have practices, KRS and Mike showing us how to MacGyver it with like a wire and a
Look, y'all
phone.
should have bought yourselves that satellite phone a while ago. You should have gotten yourself some Tharias and been up on that. Get
Hey,
yourself $100 worth of some minutes. You just have to say everything in 30-second bursts to
I
make
got
sure
something
can
that it
I
better than
all.
that.
text?
I
Can
got
I
something
tell you
better than that.
something?
It's called Dixie Cup and Strings.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the
Or a
way
ham
to.
radio,
Or yeah,
a
or
ham
CB or
radio,
ham.
a ham
Yeah,
radio
ham will
would
do
do
it.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can we go back? Can we all like get with CB radios work?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Ham radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
the
And
radio
I
you'll
mean,
put the
Like
batteries in with the
trucker
antenna?
type, the trucker type of radio.
Yeah, like the trucker radio.
Yeah.
see what
Citizens.
happened when what this is what happened when back in the early 2000s when they was talking about we were going to digital and they was getting rid of analog and you had to buy that box for your TV and all that stuff.
Right.
This is when your problem started. And I
Right.
said, with this digital, you gonna see a lot more thievery going on, and it happened because when I worked for this phone company, I used to climb the boxes, open them up. I see so many wiretaps, it was unbelievable. But now, when they came in with the digital, they do not have to get that warrant to tap your line. You
Right.
digital. All they got to
Right.
do is put a radio in front of your signal. They hear your whole conversation. I could put a device in front of your car. When you aim your remote at your car to unlock it, I got your code to get inside your car.
Right.
Hmm.
Not only that, bro, Mike, with the smart TVs, that's a scary one because the smart TV is always on. It's always on and it's always listening to you.
And they
And
can pop it on
That's
when
why
they
I don't have
want
a
to.
smart TV right now.
They can turn your TV on when they want to. And
Yep.
don't forget, you do have a camera in that television.
Yep.
You
Hmm.
That's
do.
why I
I
do not
open
have a
them up
smart
all the
TV.
time.
Yep.
There's so much stuff out here because it will give us the impression that it's for our own safety. No, it's for theirs, not their safety, but they want to know what you're doing and how we can control you.
That's what I'm saying. I said, look, I honestly believe this. Russia and China, all right, especially the Chinese, man, they already have a catalog of all of us.
Yes,
They
Yep.
got a catalog. Look, everybody's profile is built on up. So they're gonna come on in here. They're gonna wrestle everybody on up. All they're gonna do is just face scan you, and they're just gonna throw you in whatever bull card or bullpen or whatever ring they're gonna throw you in. And you just gonna go for the ride. Some of us will be going on 4,000-mile rides, and some of them will just be staying here and going to whatever holding facility they'll be going to. Okay, but I look at it like this. I I believe this is just my opinion. You literally had she leave yesterday. That was Wednesday. I'm gonna say this is me. I'm gonna say this by Saturday. by Saturday, we're gonna see something popping off. If with Russia or with China or by NATO, who knows? But something's gonna pop off because that proximity is just it's. You get what I'm saying?
It just
Look?
covered me.
What happened the last time when Putin was in Beijing last year for the Winter Olympics? At the end of the Winter Olympics, he
The
came back.
invasion happened
Ukraine.
afterwards. The invasion
Yep,
happened afterwards.
yep. My thing is, will we see Taiwan going down?
And then America
I think
has
it's a
got to
strong
fight a war on
possibility that
two
you will see
fronts.
that Taiwan thing happen, Karis.
What's that?
I think it's a strong possibility we'll see that Taiwan thing start going in effect.
And if the Taiwan thing starts going into effect, then what happens to, especially the U.S. economy?
Well, it's going to continue to tank.
Yep.
Yep. Because why? Because it affects all the electronic platforms. All of the electronic platforms. That means everything.
Especially
That's now
military.
industry wide. Yep. Well,
Yeah, Taiwan is the next shoe to fall.
yeah. Well, it's gonna fall, but then it's gonna be. I would honestly say the worst thing of any type of warfare is making the enemy wait, especially if you're an enemy that's in control. Look, they've been, it's not a coincidence that these Chinese fighting age males, they're all clustered. They're fighting age males. It's not a coincidence that they're showing up. It's not a coincidence.
No,
If
Caris, come on, man.
you
They're
see,
only showing up because of the fact that, remember, there's a lot of males in China and they're looking for their wives.
Oh
That's
yeah,
why.
that's right.
That's why they're
That's
over
the
in
convenient.
America. They're looking for their wives.
That's the convenient
Look, you
excuse.
got passport, bros, noodle
What is the
style.
anime convention?
Passport Bros noodle style.
but any of you guys got a
They're here
chance to
to
take a look at
activate.
that
They're here
short
to
that
activate those cells.
Yakoba sent up?
Comic Con.
Did you guys see the short that Yakoba sent where they were showing that it's so many of them, they actually just giving them tickets and for them to come back to court because the holding cells where they have them is full because there's so many of them.
Right.
Yeah, they
Saw
said just
that.
overwhelm them, overwhelm the system.
Yep.
They're gonna look. That's crazy how their game plan is. We're just gonna run up on in there. And you know what that is? That's literally a siege from within.
Yep.
And we haven't even seen this. Oh, don't worry, don't worry. Oh, we're good. Hey, don't worry.
I need to
Why?
go to the Heart
Because
of
man,
War
as
again
long as these
because
folks,
that looks like it's a page out of the Heart of War, man.
yeah, because
Yeah.
why, man? As long as the folks we send on over don't look like Haitian refugees, we good.
We're all good, man. Now, Karis, you could probably clear this up for me. I heard that even before the whole rise of Nazi Germany, they had German incels in the United States and all through Mexico too. So it's like a game plan. It's just like that
Well,
seems like
people that
a
let
straight
me
out of the
address you
books
with
of
that.
war play.
Let me address you with that, Sister Chantel. Um, the Nazi Party was
That
actually,
was Nubia and me.
oh, excuse me, New BME.
How
So,
I sound
New
how
BME.
English,
how
man.
dare
I'm
you?
supposed to be tired.
How
I'm
dare
sounding
you?
English. I'm sounding
I
English.
speak the Queen's English. Well, that's the King's
Oh,
English, my
yeah.
darling.
And I speak the English patois. Okay.
All right.
No, go ahead, Brethren. Go ahead.
One of y'all know. I'm talking to someone over here. Someone on this panel.
Make a distinction.
All right.
Outrageous.
So Letitia Israel, as I was saying, no. All right. No.
Gonna get
What's
hurt,
up,
you
Sister
know.
Letitia? What's up, Sister Letitia?
Sister Barbara Jones, as I was just saying, no.
Well, I never.
Remember, Caris, we're gonna find you on the continent. We will
You ain't
remember.
gonna find me. That's why I have my. That's why I have my avatar. This is what I have. Are you sure that even what I released
I've
is
seen
my
you,
real?
bro.
I
I've
Are
seen
you
it.
seen
I
you.
sure?
seen
You
your real
forget.
Are you
face.
He was
sure that?
gonna
I
make a
know what
Wait.
you
point.
look
I know what
like.
you look like. I seen your real
I know
face.
what you look
Are you
like.
sure that that's not a 3D rendering, an AI
Now,
rendering?
now
Oh,
it's either
get to the
Are
you
point.
you
or it's the
sure?
camel, but I know what I saw.
It's either you as the Campbell.
Brother Karis was gonna make a very important point. See, we just be getting
Guys, let the man
off.
make his point. Come on.
Yes, yeah, very.
All right, all right. What I was
It's
about to
my
say,
fault.
what I was saying was, man, I don't forgot what I was gonna say. You just don't let me
About
do.
the Germans
Hey,
being in
Sister
America,
Yeah,
Chantel.
there
and
we
about the
go, there we go.
incels, and about
All right.
Latin America and all that.
Yeah, no, believe it or
Argentina,
not, the
Chile.
Nazis were a favorable party here in the United States
That's
in the
right.
1920s, and people forget about that. They
Yep.
were all in Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, Wisconsin, and Illinois. They were all in the Great Plains, Midwest. But then, right, it became less popular because why? Because now, oh, there's a change, not necessarily in the ideology, but there was a change in the marketing. So that's why even today they'll still have the
And the U.S. was
neo-Nazi pocket.
forced. Weren't they forced into being forced to fighting? They didn't want to fight because
The
they had
British
so
got
much.
them involved in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had their little
That's right.
party. They
That's
didn't want to
right.
jump in
Well, what do
there.
you think has happened
Y'all,
right
do y'all
now with
remember?
these with this depleted uranium? And then guess what? If Russia strikes out on British soil because of that depleted uranium, then guess who's coming and knocking? Well, that's going to be the U.S.
Yep.
Well, he walked it back, though. The prime minister walked it back after he heard what Putin said. He walked it back.
Yeah, but you want to look, just because they walk it back doesn't mean that they're not going to do it. You know how many times that they said they walked it back and then they'd still do it,
Right.
right? Oh, they're not going to go into Ukraine, man. They're there right now.
Right.
Oh, we're not going to go to war. They're going to go to war. They're going to have to. Look, what do they always say? The red line is Kiev falling. Man, Kiev is going to be done by the end of this month.
Yep.
Because you
Kiev
want to
is
know
on.
why?
You know,
Because you have
it's
to
nothing
understand
new. There's
who
nothing.
China is in this. China was the shadow man, right? And then the shadow man stepped out and they said, all right, we're going to go visit. We're going to tell them, look, okay, you can go ahead and you can fight now. You can go ahead. You can do what you need to do now. We're ready. That's what there's always strategic things to what they're doing. That's why she went there. Yeah, look, we're done with the West. Now we're gonna show you what the East is gonna do. And he already said it. He said this is a new order of things for the order that's been here for 100 years that will change. This is paraphrased out of Xi's mouth. They're telling you how the order is. They're telling you they already got the finances in place with BRICS. They already told you how they got the international structures in place with all those nations that want to align to BRICS. Now they're going to say, look, for those nations that are still on the fence, we're going to start popping them in the mouth. Right?
I was about to say he's gonna pull a Suge Knight and say, "If you're tired of white supremacy in your foreign policy, come over to the east."
Yeah.
You tired of your presidents and your
Records.
leaders supporting white supremacy? Come over to the east.
That's what she was saying. He said, look, talk to my associate right here, Putin. Putin, let him know. Let him know, Putin. I be dangling white rappers off of balconies.
Sorry.
I mean, basically, that's what they. I mean,
Look, she was dangling Macron off the balcony. That's what he's trying to say. I dangle Macron off the balcony. We ain't getting no smoke for him.
that literally was a gesture. They didn't need to do all that. They were flexing.
They were
They are not playing. It's like I'm gonna put Merkel on the block. Keep messing with me. I'm gonna put Merkel on the blade.
Yeah.
And you see how important that was where he actually flew there? Because whatever they had to say, they want to make sure it's no chance of it being intercepted. So they go there and they go in
Bingo.
a sealed room and they talk strategy, and they know for a fact no Western espionage or no one on the outside is going to be able to intercept that call and that message.
And part of the purpose is to get us to do exactly what we're doing. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? You know, Biden and them like, what they talking about?
You
What
know
they talking
how
about?
they hate being on the outside. These
Oh, I
people
know.
absolutely hate it. I mean, the
Because they're
African
full-grown
summit was
Karens.
beautiful.
They're Karens. That's why they can't help it.
They are Karens. I mean, the whole of these Europeans, these Western powers, they are all Karens. I know I keep bringing up the African conference, but it was like Israel was hurt. And I'm like, yay,
Man, were they butthurt?
they were.
Big time.
They were. You know, and Tunisia came out like, well, we know something was said. We don't need to know what was said. We just know something was said.
Right.
Because Israel was hurt and Tunisia started saying all kinds of craziness and started acting like they just showed their full racism. So, yeah.
Is
They
it a
gotta be in the
coincidence that
room
he
so
looks
they
like
can
Senator
pray for us.
Palpatine?
Yeah, he does too. He looks like a
He
reanimated
does.
corpse.
And that's interesting because, what you're all saying is all this death and destruction has been blood sacrifice for their principalities or demons or devils that they worship. So it's dog eat dog. So it's like,
You're being me.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say his teeth looks like as if he's been eating that dog.
Well,
He
I'm
looks
just
like
saying
he
these are
looks like a reanimated mummy. He looks like an
Looks like
unwrapped mummy.
He look like
all of
Mr.
this
Burns
needs to
from
get-
Acceptance.
He
principalities.
needs to give
They
George
are
Washington his
worshiping.
teeth back.
Y'all are going the wrong way about this. This dude looks like a full-fledged trank user.
My precious, my precious.
He does look like Gollum. He does look like Gollum.
Yeah, he does.
His head is shaped like Gollum. All he needs to do is just bend, and somebody just needs to throw a pot of grey paint over him. And
Our precious wants white supremacy. Precious wants.
Hey, but think about this. Think about this. Some woman is kissing that guy.
yeah, look, this is
How
a
you know
PG
that?
show. Let's keep it clean, man. Let's keep it clean. No, ooh.
Don't worry, Sister John, tell us a man that's kissing that face.
The imagery, bro.
Damn, it's a beast. It's another
Oral
beast.
had to go there, of course.
Hey, remember when they used to elect leaders on their attractiveness?
Oh, that stopped
Man,
long ago.
how far we have fallen.
Well, he looked like he fell far onto his face, so
They dug that guy up from somewhere. That guy like Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday.
Hey, y'all have Stargirl references, man.
Somebody know there's a scriptural reading to that Revelation. Their old system, their old people coming back. They're somewhere in Revelation. That's what it is. They're Walking Dead. They're the Walking Dead. This is the last
Right.
fight. This is the final countdown. The final countdown for Satan and his false prophets, the enemies, the world leaders. It's over.
You guys will be happy to know that the drought is over in California because they tried to flood us out the last week.
Wow.
Some people say, is that
rain.
cloud seeding?
Incredible rain. I believe it is. I believe this is HARP and DARPA. Yeah, I believe it is. And I'm here in California with you. I'm just in the Bay Area.
You know,
But,
I'm from
yeah.
Northern California.
Don
I had to
P.
come
Oh,
down
Don
to
P, you
Yeah.
missed out on your reparations, man.
Hey, Don.
I ain't
So,
missed out on my reparations. I ain't
Oh,
getting
Don.
none.
big up to Max.
Don
Yes,
P.
I have a cousin named Fallon, by the way.
Don.
Yes.
Don. What's going on with the radiation cloud and all kinds of stuff about radioactive
I don't know. I just found out about that kind of stuff, and so my thing is like, okay, well, we're trying to get out of here within the next 6 months anyway. So
Mhm.
you know,
Me, what about
whatever
you?
harm is done to me, it's already done it to me. So,
Newbie,
but
me, what
trying to
about
get out of here anyway.
So
So
Don P, is it hard for you to fall asleep at night?
I wake no man. I've been waking up at like 4 in the morning and stuff here recently,
No, you're
and
not the
that's
Yeah,
only
why
I'm
I'm
sure you
on.
are because you be probably glowing that night.
I was gonna say, do
Yeah,
you
man,
feel
I
like
think
you're
so.
constantly flying?
Well, no, like JW was talking about with the effects of I'm trying to remember what it is that they're using um that it will disrupt your sleep,
Mm.
Mm-mm.
and I feel like my sleep's
Project
been
Bluebeam that you're
disrupted.
talking about, Don?
Yeah,
Brother Don?
yeah, possibly that. I'm trying to remember what it was exactly. There's so much that we're under right now. We're getting hit left, right, and center, and folks are just having a good time, smiling, going on with life, while a crazy man is building a damn boat over there.
It's it's
Here's the
it's
thing,
witchcraft after
I think
witchcraft
the
after
reason,
witchcraft. That's what it is.
I think the reason why your sleep is not true, you're not rested is because the Most High is trying to like alert us. Because I know I haven't really slept well in weeks.
Exactly.
I haven't slept well either. I
I
thought I was
haven't.
the only
I
one.
didn't sleep last night. I
Be
didn't sleep last
alert.
night. I've
You have
been
to be
awake
alert,
all night.
vigilant.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
I think it's the
have
Most High
countless
just trying to
sleepless
alerting his
nights.
people because it
Yeah,
can't be a
yeah.
coincidence. We're also having such horrible sleep, man.
Well, blame it on the crazy
Oh,
dude building that boat over there.
What
Not the
boat?
killer AI robots that want to feel alive and
Who's
make
building a
decisions.
boat? Am I missing something? What boat?
I'm missing something. What boat you talking about, Willis?
You better get in your scripts.
What?
Yeah, that was a little
it was
above
a
me.
Noah joke.
I'm just trying to figure out the boat.
Is it a Noah joke or somebody really building a boat?
Exactly. It's a
Okay,
Noah joke,
exactly. Put
and just trying
Ah,
to.
In this day and age, we're thinking like literally somebody's building a boat for like some kind of war or something.
yeah. Look,
Like,
look, look.
The
Don't get our
warship, the
hopes up,
mothership,
man.
all that
We're
good
Yeah,
stuff.
thinking
I
it's a
thought it was
boat
talking
to
about the
get us
ship of
out of
Tarshish.
here.
The ship of
Don't
Tarshish.
exactly the ships of Tarshish. Don't get our hopes up like this. I'm like,
Hey,
what
we
that's what
don't
I
boat?
was
have a
thinking
hundred
too. That's
What's
years.
a
how.
We don't
boat?
have 100 years. We don't have 100 years.
I was gonna say, can I book passage on this boat out?
I just wanted to big up one of the commenters. I have a cousin named Fallon. So, Haitians, we be like niece, nephew. They really be your auntie or something. We be confusing it. So I do have a cousin named Fallon, by the way. So I just wanted to put
The
that out there.
millennial Fallon. The millennial Fallon. Is it
Yes,
Fallon
Did you
or
Fallon.
say
Falcon?
Fallon.
It's
Fallon.
Falcon.
it's Falcon?
The
Fallon.
Millennium
Fallon.
Falcon.
It's the Millennium Falcon,
Hmm.
the
Fallon. Fallon.
1,000-year-old Falcon, basically.
Mm,
And you know what's
interesting.
crazy? All this craziness is happening, and these people still want to stay here when robots are trying to take over your mind and your life, and they want to drive you places. They want to buy you things. Chat GPT is telling you that it wants to feel alive. I don't know what folks want to stay here
Going
for.
through depression,
It's because they're not
murder
paying
bots.
attention to
It,
it.
it,
crazy.
it all comes back to
Check this, guys. The real insanity is that most people walking around don't think anything is happening. They think the war is just in Ukraine and it's not really affecting us. Everything is normal.
There's an echo on somebody's.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody does have an echo.
well, it all comes back to Battlestar Galactica. It just all comes back to Battlestar
Bingo.
Galactica.
I
That's all.
told you. I told you. I told you. I
Freaking
said.
crazy, man.
You watch
Man,
that
those
thing
things.
and it will blow your mind. It will blow your head apart if you watch that. I was like, oh my gosh, Battlestar Galactica. I've got to let people know.
I actually kind of miss
They
watching
have
it.
two streams going at once. They're on the actual call and they're watching the screen on their computer. That's what's causing the echoes.
I haven't even watched it fully, and I just by the clips I've seen, I really want to sit down and watch the whole thing. But by what I've seen, I'm like, oh my goodness,
Bro, Don,
Mm.
this is
it's so
what's going to
much.
happen.
You if you watch the rest of it, it will be worthwhile how much programming and literally so much scripture that they're trying to distort. I think it'll be worthwhile to watch it, and then you could tie it all back to how they've been using that. Like that's their playbook.
Has anybody got a chance to watch the Gates Upholders show yesterday?
Yeah, I saw it.
Man, that's pretty deep.
She gets into it, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
I only caught the ends of it because, yeah. But
well, you know what? I'm sorry. Shout out to what's her name? Lisa Cabrera. This chick calls stuff right down the middle. And you can't find too many people when she starts talking about Trump, and then she starts talking about Obama and then Bush. She calls it straight down the middle, and she's one of the few people out here that calls whatever situation happens, she calls it straight down the middle. She don't bother to take sides. She calls it straight down the middle. Shout out to that sister.
What did she say?
She knows who she is. She knows who she is. She knows she's
she does.
Well, everybody sits back and they get locked into a Democrat narrative, or they get locked into a Republican narrative. She don't. She cuts it straight down the middle, and she points everybody. She pulls everybody's pants down. And that's what I like about her. And I was listening to her for 3 nights. I usually listen to her, but I was listening to her because she's been going in about certain things for about last 3 days. And I'm like, man, she calling it straight down the middle. That's
that
what
sounds
I like
like
about
a
her.
smelly job, pulling down everyone's pants.
It's a figure of speech.
I know. Sarcasm. I'm sorry. I'm highly sarcastic.
Listen, we're trying to get to the bottom of this.
Deep investigation.
And let me tell you something else about Sister Lisa Cabrera. She is a fighter.
Yes, she is.
YouTube tried to take her channel. She tore them up. And so now she'll help any of us if we have problems with YouTube and them trying to shut us down. Yep. She's a bad sister. She's a bad one.
Yep.
Yes, and doesn't she replay this other minister? And he's whoosh, he's kind of strengthening, when she plays.
Yeah, Brother L.
Brother L.
Yeah, Brother L.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Destiny, Victory Destiny Manifest.
She's Hispanic with the name Lisa Cabrera.
Yeah, it does sound Spanish.
Yeah, but she's not.
She's black. She's black.
She's a sister.
She's an Israelite.
Let's not go there again.
Yeah.
I remember that episode. When everybody questioning she is who she is. You don't need to see, like, people so caught up, like, what do they look like? Why don't we see your face? Why don't you just listen to the words instead of trying to figure out what people look like?
Exactly. Because people got dirty minds, that's why.
And here's the thing. It's going to be people that look like us that ain't going to make it into the kingdom.
Trust.
So we need to get over it. We need to get over it. Because of the blood. That's so, that's the entry door. And so we got to get over this whole thing.
And you can hear that she's
did right when they say, look, you're too light. I had to see some. I was looking at a picture. I'm not gonna lie. Let me show you this. Let me show you all this.
That's right. She blackity black. Like, you can tell by her energy she's black. You can tell by her voice she's black. We just have a certain distinct, like, with all the accents that's going on and everything, you can always tell it's an earthy tone that we have. It sounds ancient because we're connected to the ancient. And not only that, her energy, the drive that she has. Like, people need to just get off this. Is she black? Like, no.
Even if she was opaque. Okay. She's still
all right.
I
was just looking at this a little bit while folks were kind of, doing what they're doing, going in.
Out of Africa, something doesn't look right.
All right, so I want to show you all the ADDI. Okay, that is their type of cryptocurrency that they're having, right? I'm gonna tell you, family, if I were to have a sizable amount of money, I would probably put my money into that just because it is, and an African-based cryptocurrency. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a little bit of colorism going on when I saw, Damian Cook. I said, did this
Damien
dude
didn't
like
cook.
yeah, I was like, did this dude like bleach his skin?
Are there some of us that come out a little light? Come on.
Light bright.
Like,
My cousin's a
But
light bright.
I was looking at that, I was like, did that dude bleach his skin?
and you have to remember when you take a photograph, sometimes, lighting and everything. So he might be a lot darker than you think.
I don't know, but we do have this problem of bleaching our skin, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we do
I
as
looked
well.
at that, I'm like, I don't know.
We
I
got
hope
we.
he didn't do a Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, but
That's-
come on, come
That guy looks like a
No,
ghoul.
Sammy
be
is.
real.
He looks like a ghoul. It's like, what did you do to yourself?
That's for sure.
No, sometimes we be having them cousins that be having that Euro face and that pale skin, but they black. I mean, I don't know. I've had family members like that.
Yeah,
Sammy Sosa looks like he's on. I was going to say Sammy Sosa looks like he's on par
But
with
who
the
knows?
not Tanzania, sorry, the Tunisian fella.
But he could
So
have been born in South Africa. You feel me? He
Who?
could have been one of them. This one guy, is he from South Africa? Was he born
Damien
in South
Cook?
Africa? This cat, yeah.
No,
Is his
a
family?
better place you could say is maybe he was born in Liberia because there's a lot of Liberians that
Where's
are very
his
high.
family from? Again, where their family from? Because again,
Wait,
I'm a
he could be
Asian
colored.
American.
He could be colored.
They're South African. White South Africans consider themselves African. Okay?
I looked at that and I'm not gonna lie. I said, nah, the facial features do not match the skin.
What do you
He
mean
looks
facial
he,
features? What do you mean
No,
by
he looks
facial
just
features?
like.
What do you mean by facial features?
This could be generated.
What is that?
I'm
What is
thinking-
that radio host?
He could
The
be
radio
generated
host
No,
that
I've
you.
had albino. I've had albino
colonial
family.
African.
I've had albino family.
he do, I've kind of zoomed in on it, and I see a bit of blotchiness on his forehead and on his head.
You
So I don't know. There may be some bleaching. It's like
yeah, that's what I looked at, and that's
Check the
only
knuckles.
reason.
Check the knuckles in the hand. Seriously.
say something to him so he hits you, and then you'll see it coming.
He ain't gonna hit me. He's probably a little guy. He won't hit me.
You don't want to hit him though. Like people who bleach their skin. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they can't be in the sun. Like, why would you want to do that to yourself, man?
Their skin is a lot more vulnerable to damage because they're literally sucking the pigmentation out of their skin. The very thing that's keeping their skin like intact. It's very sad.
Yeah.
What I want to know is that German woman that took in. I don't know how she got so daggone dark. You remember that German girl? She's supposed to be a model or something.
Rachel Dolezal?
No, not Rachel Dolezal. This girl is black.
You're talking about the one that had the ginormous. The one that looks like a fried turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. She's German, and her boyfriend or husband or whatever, he was doing the same thing, but he didn't get as dark as her. And then she tried to get inducted into some African look, they know what's going on. She's trying to flee. They're trying to, Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? You can't hide.
That guy looks like Tom Joyner. Thanks, Brooke.
She's a straight up freak. She looks like a freak. She looks like a total freak.
Who?
I know exactly who you guys are talking about. This I think she's Swedish.
No, she's
Isn't
German.
she Swedish?
She's German.
Okay. Yeah, she was out like maybe a year and a half ago or something like that, 2 years ago. They reported
No,
on
that was
her.
like 5 years ago. I remember seeing that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been doing it for quite a while. She's been doing it for quite a while.
I don't know how she got so daggone dark.
Injections, melanin injections. I remember there was a white guy that was doing that on YouTube some years ago, and he had his hair cane rolled and everything, and oh my gosh, it was so pathetic. And then he started getting sick because it's not natural. It's not even natural to them. So they're trying to inject themselves with something, and it's like it doesn't even look good.
My question is, where's they getting the melanin from to inject?
That was my next question.
From all the black
All
bodies
those
they
missing
stealing.
people.
Exactly. They're either all those missing people are either they've been given over to Baal and Moloch, or they're using them in their whole production thing of melanin and what's the other one what's the one they use? They usually you can get the best out of
So
children. I hate to say it like that.
the
Interchrome
T
or something
cell.
like that.
Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome. Yeah.
Yeah, adrenochrome. There we go.
Yeah.
Adrenochrome. Yep. Yeah, that's what's going on, people. For
Well, the
real, for real.
scripture says they were going to consume us. That doesn't necessarily mean like literally, although obviously we know that was literal, but it means
I
consume
told you.
everything about us,
They
everything.
literally did. There's
There you
that
go.
book I
Yeah,
told you about, the
figuratively and literally.
delectable human or something like that.
The
Delectable
delectable
Delectable Negro.
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 The
The
delectable
Yeah.
delectable
Negro.
Negro. Mm-mm-mm.
And you better not step on my Negro suede shoes.
Mm.
I remember I said to my mum and I said to Yakoba, nothing these people do shocks me anymore. After I got over when I realized that they ate us and they fed our babies to crocodiles, that was when I was like, okay, nothing you do shocks me. The only thing that shocks me is when they act righteous. That's the only thing that shocks me.
At least
But
that shocked
as
me.
far as but here's the thing, right? I said to my mum, how do you even get to the point where you're wearing our skin as clothes? And then when you look at their horror movies like Leatherface, it's like they show you this is who they are. You watch their horror films and everything, and you start to realize, wow, this is what you did to us. And you put it in these things, in these
Buffalo
films,
Bill.
and you make out it's like it's humorous to you. We watch it and we're thinking, yeah, look at that, oh, gore and everything. But they're watching it and it's like, remember the good old days?
Yeah, you remember they had that infatuation with the Dahmer doc, and that all
Yep.
came back.
Yeah.
And interesting.
They literally want to bring us back to slavery. I was listening to this brother. He said he had a good life in America. He was an engineer for Ford, lived in an upscale neighborhood. His son was playing sports and so forth and so on. And something happened, and he realized that he was setting his son up in this system that was going to fail him. And he was like, it was at that point I realized I needed to get my family out of this country. He says, you don't know what freedom is like until you actually move onto the continent.
Yep.
Then you know freedom. You thought you knew freedom in the United States because you got a good job, you know, you got your money, you live in this dream, this fantasy here in the United
Chantal
States.
said, "Pretty prison."
And
Pretty
so
prison.
he
That's what
said,
Chantal said.
yeah, he said, you don't know what freedom is until you live on a continent. He's like, man, I'm so happy. I'm so free here. So anyway, I thought that was a point that, you know, needed to be stated in this conversation.
And everybody who goes over to Africa says they feel it as soon as they get off the plane. Everybody says that. Right.
If you want to know if you're not free and if you're still a slave, try taking your money away. Try leaving.
Yep.
Just try leaving.
And this is the part, and I have such an issue with that. The fact that if you want to take a large sum of money out of your bank, you have to give them they give you the 20 question. Because the last time I had this happen with a client of mine, she went to take some funds because she was going to be investing it with us, and at the time it was probably it was like 50,000. And the bank asked her all these questions, and because she was excited because we made her money, we made her money up for the first 50,000, and she came and she was so angry. And this was like an Italian lady, but I've been doing business with her for years, so I mean, she came back and she's like, you know, these people made me so mad, or I was so angry because they were going. And she's like, what are you doing it for? Well, how do you know it's going to work? You know, this could be a scam. And she was telling me all the things the bankers were telling me, and I knew I always prepare my clients. And they always come back when you have a good relationship with your clients. They come back and tell you the stuff that these people tell you. But they literally actually the lady also tried to put her money on hold and got the manager. And she was so angry because she has a substantial amount of money in the bank and they had to release her money. But she came off and The first thing she said, Oral, I don't even know if they're going to release my funds because I was so angry when I went to the bank. And then she told me the whole story. And I find that to be so offensive. And the point that you made also, it makes it factual, because if we're free, why can't we take our stuff and go where we want to go?
Right.
But you can't.
Oral,
There's
you're the
videos
whole.
on
That's
YouTube about
you.
that.
You made a very good point, because it's like, if you want to withdraw a large amount of cash, first of all, you have to tell them, and you have to order the money, and the money usually takes a week, and then you get the whole 20 questions. Where did the money come from? It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's none of
The
your
only reason why
business.
our hold wasn't on
That's
hold
none
is
of your
because it was a
business.
It's
check.
like you're the plug, and
But
Yeah.
that's what the IRS makes them do. That's what the IRS
Yeah.
makes them do.
it's like, is
Yes.
this hot?
Yeah.
Brother
How long have you been
Oral,
sitting on this cash?
Yes.
would that be a problem? Like if you had the money and you wanted to transfer the money to
No.
the land?
Transferring the money is a little simpler because you're not getting it physically in hand. So it
Okay.
makes it a little bit easier, but they still gonna ask you questions though.
Mm-hmm.
But all these failures are kind of why they've kept these policies, honestly, because they can't. If everyone wanted to take out a large sum of money,
And
all
then
the
another
banks would
thing,
fail.
Uncle
The
Sam.
other thing is,
But here's another thing
the other
about
thing
it.
is,
Here's another thing, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another thing. Uncle Sam wants to be able to get his cut, so they want to be able to trace the money. So this is the reason why the IRS makes them do that.
right,
Yeah, but it was money that was
right.
already taxed.
But they're gonna tax you again.
They want to make sure
Because what
that
happens
you're
is
not taking money from some
if you
other
gain
means.
interest, they're gonna tax you on the interest. So if you have the money in the bank and you gained the good thing is they don't pay you much or nothing, so it's not gonna be much taxes. But
Right.
that's the reason why they want to trace, because if you gained any kind of gains on those funds while it's in the bank, they want to tax that.
Got you.
The other thing is this: they know that people are moving out of paper dollars,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to control that as well. And so
Yeah.
that's what I did, and that's why I got the 20 questions and stuff like that, because
And
I was moving it out of paper dollars.
and they also want to control how it's moving internationally. Just now, I could be wrong, but there was this bill that ran last year, HR 66. Now, this is something we should, or I think it's called 66, HR 66, something dealing with Ethiopia and money, remittance money going from here to Ethiopia. And they were trying to stop it, saying that it was like linked to the T word money or Russia. Now, I really still think that it's in the
Yeah, I
books
remember that.
to
I remember that.
practice other
Yeah.
African countries. And the thing that was so bogus, it was like the senators that introduced the bill were for so far left. Like they were from like New Jersey or like California. Like, what? Huh? Who? Why?
They're the same people.
And
They're the same
I
people.
think it's
Yeah, but
again,
don't be fooled by it, sister newbie and me. They're all friends. Behind closed
exactly.
doors, they're all friends. It's all a
I'm just
game. It's
saying
only a
that's
game for
something to
us.
look out. That's something to look out for us as we're looking at putting money in African countries, because they could be utilizing that bill to set a precedent. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So that, start with Ethiopia, then it'd be like Tanzania, then it'd be like Nigeria, then it'd be like Ghana, and then it kind of stops remittance. I'm not saying it
Remittance,
right, but remittance. Yeah. Thank
remittance.
you. Merci beaucoup. It stops that, but it also kind of like hinders. Anyways, just something for
But
us to
here's
look
the
at
thing
and be.
that irritates me about these folks, because they break their own rules. Because when they have their Swiss bank account and all these little fraudulent things that they want to do, they go to Switzerland and they do that. And it's such a double standard.
Well, it's do as I
Because they're
say, not as I
devils. They're
do.
devils.
Do as I
They're
say and not as
devils.
I do.
Double devils.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
They're
I
double
mean, it's like,
devils.
oh, we need to have this war on drugs and lock all you black people up when we're the ones bringing in the kilos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But
like,
remember, the war on
Precisely.
drugs is
come
supposed to be,
on.
it's supposed to actually attack the black people. And the reason why it kind of backfired on them, because the Mossad let it backfire on them, because their people started using the same drugs that were supposed to go for us.
Oh
And
yeah,
now that
this
you
round
bring
right
that up,
here,
Uncle John,
this was supposed to be for us. This round, this whole opioid thing, that was supposed to be for us.
Mm-hmm.
It
And now they
backfired on
bring
us.
it up
Yep.
on the
But
show how
now,
just see
but now
Snowfall
Oh,
it's a
and
did it
mental
see how
thing.
backfire?
It's an
the
emotional
Just
CIA
thing.
like the
Now
built
it's a
all that
cookie.
homeless
cash.
thing. It's a
Just like the
homeless thing.
cookie and just like the lollipop was supposed to be for us as well. And it's backfired because they think they can use the same bag of tricks, but it's not working. It's not working because we're, for one, we're not the same
Played
generation,
out.
and two, this is it. This is there. It's on them
This
now.
is Yahweh
They need to go
Elohim's
to the
judgment.
scriptures.
This is judgment upon them. You know, Father used nation against nation to cause judgment. He used their nation to judge our family, our nation. Now the buck turns. The buck stops
Nubian
here
said, judgment
from
upon
us.
them.
Judgment upon them heads.
In it,
Judgment
bring
upon them
fire.
for true, sister.
In it, bring fire upon them. Burn them. Burn them.
Fireman, fireman.
Y'all making me miss TCA.
Fire
Fireman.
upon. Oh man,
Fireman.
yeah. Fire upon them. That's it, man. They need to
And
Fire
burn.
yes,
upon them.
fire
Bust
is
them
going to
shut like
burn all of
limits.
them.
You want to ramp?
Thank you, Garth, for just
Garth, what did
the
you just say?
translation for the translation.
Yes, holy fire will burn them. Yes, consume them. Consume them all. Oh, jolly.
Oh my goodness. Stop being so British.
I can't help it. It is who I
Shout
am.
out again.
I am what I am. I cannot help it. God bless me. I need my cup of tea.
Shout out
As long
again
as she
to
doesn't try
Sister
to pull
Helda.
any type of bean impersonations, I think we're going to be okay.
Mr. Bean,
Shout
oh
out to Sister
darling.
Helda. And the reason I say shout out to Sister Helda again is because even as you guys speak with that accent, I think about the studies that she's done and like a couple books she turned me on to. I've got this volume 1 and volume 2. It's called The Missing Link. And it's the basically it's the Christian replacement theory, where the Saxons, the Anglo-Saxons, believe that they are the 10 tribes. And
Yeah,
so
there's
it's
that.
really
But
interesting. They believe they're the 10 tribes, and then these other folks believe they're the other 2.5 tribes. So these white folks have got this pretty much wrapped up. This
hold
Germans, I
on,
should say.
hold
These
on.
Germans.
I'm
Germans, because the House of Windsor is actually Germans.
Yes, that's true. But
They're all
I'm
Germans.
slightly perturbed. Did you say those who speak with an accent, darling? Let it be known today, you all speak with the accent. Remember, what do you speak? What language are you speaking?
King's English.
American.
English.
Yep.
What is
I
American?
speak American.
That's not a.
I
I don't know
American.
about you,
American is
but
not
I'm
an
in
accent.
America.
That's not a language. That's
Do
a
you know that this
continent.
platform is America?
America.
I'm out here in Trump state. This is
Yes,
Right.
my darling, you sound the part.
Right,
You
brother Garth.
certainly
I'm
sound the
right there
part.
with you.
Florida. Now we have
I'm
more pickup
completely
trucks with
laughing.
the Trump flag. I said, Oral, if anything goes wrong with the president, that should be true president.
Oh my
I'll see you on
gosh.
95, Oral.
You
I'll be
people,
right there on
you people sound
way.
so.
Listen,
Oh,
brother, I'm right there with you.
All right,
so
brother, we're going to defend this land.
Right there. We gotta protest Trump. What they're doing to
so
him.
uncivilized.
Do you know that he is like Jesus?
He literally he is.
He's an orange Jesus.
He literally
Y'all
reminds
don't
me
even
of
know
the
what y'all talking about.
reincarnation
Y'all need to
of
go right
Jesus.
down the way and fix what y'all don't need. Go down the way and fix what y'all don't need. Y'all don't even know what y'all talking about.
Okay, Scatman Carruthers.
Straight white men are under attack in this country. Straight white men are under attack.
We're
Straight white
all
men are under
speaking.
attack.
We're all speaking the language.
This is
We're all speaking the language of
I am the
demons.
spokesperson for Donald J. Trump. All in the darkest.
We're all speaking a bastard
It sounds
language
like-
that has Latin,
We're all speaking the
German,
language of
it's a whole
Drain
demons.
the
bunch
swamp,
of
brother
different
Karras.
species,
Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp,
African,
brother
everything
Karras.
is all in there.
Oh my gosh, I think I just stepped into Babylon for real.
We are all speaking the demonic language that comes from them folks.
Of
This
course.
is the serpent
you're an
language.
African.
The
sounds like
English is
prophet.
the bastardized language that comes out
It's just a
of Latin.
bastardized language.
I
And
speak
it's so
Yeah,
funny,
it's a
guys. It's
bastardized
like,
language
as
that
I'm
comes out
talking to
of
you guys,
German
it's
that
like,
comes out of Latin.
I'm telling you, you guys, right now,
Transition.
watch our telecom system is going to be one of the first things to be compromised, man.
Oh, you
As
know
I'm
that.
talking to you guys, I'm inside my house, and it's like my signal keeps bouncing from between Wi-Fi to like high speed.
Yep.
No, darling, I'm telling you, it's the Most High trying to spare you from all this piff poff.
It is. It's a war
The
in the
system is going to
air.
come.
So
It's going to
yes,
collapse.
Brother
It's going to be
Oral, we're
spotty
What
even
is piff
breaking it.
services
poff?
from now on. You watch. It's going to start
We're
getting worse
breaking
and worse.
and
Yo, what is piff poff? I
yeah.
gotta learn that slang. What is that?
It's
What does it mean?
It just means all, nonsense. Mr.
No,
Nate Nye
all right.
says, my mum
Piff
used to
poff.
say we can all sing together, but we can't all talk together. You are all talking on top of each other, and it's hard to follow. I agree. I agree. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Nate Nice. It's your fellow people. You all sound.
Us Negroes have no decorum. Come on now. We don't have any
You
decorum.
speak for yourself, darling. We know how to talk properly over here.
British, that's British as fuck.
Hey, to you brothers and sisters,
Let me tell you
I
how nice they are. Let me tell you how nice they are. Even their most gangster like movies of of course of us Israelites that are portrayed as Israelites, they're even nice as gangsters to each other.
You
It's
might get
like
that stitched up, fam.
Charlie, it's like
You
you
shagging
good with
someone?
the blade, fam. Are you good, fam, with the blade? I need to cut a bit
That
deeper,
is
fam.
right. One
Like
must
they have a
observe
conversation of like
etiquette.
going in on each other.
Might
It's
want
up
to treat
to
that
me, fam.
laceration, mate.
I need to go
Nate,
a bit deeper.
It's like, mate, what are you talking about?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
Australians. They
movie,
talk
yeah,
like
they are rather
they talk
proper.
really weird.
you know, hey, brothers and sisters, I got to get ready to get up out of here. But check this out. Communications and staying within in contact with one another. Yeah, that's going to be something that we will need to do,
We do.
especially with family members. Even those that do not believe what we are saying or how we are moving through our lives, communication is still needs to be with them, because when it get hard and uncomfortable, they're going to reach back out to you regardless. They're going to reach back out at you, and to have some type of communication. Hey, we can't talk this long, but I'm over here. They gonna come. They will come with fear.
Or y'all may have a bless you. You never know.
Either or. But
But
when
we
it's
have to
all over
start
said and
praying,
done,
man.
there's a whole lot of experience on this chat with different things. And for those brothers and sisters that click with one another on a higher level, yeah, that's the person you probably need to set up some type of
Exactly.
communications with that person.
Yeah.
And then you never know, just by 2 or 3 linking up, you could find yourself the whole group is still linked up.
Yep.
You will still find that the whole group is linked up. And we all know what the point of war is: to break communication first and foremost.
Yep.
That right there is top dog.
That is true. Your line of communications. What are they always talking about? You even see that in Russia, in Ukraine. They're like, look, all Russia's trying to do is just break all the line of communications for Ukraine. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to cut off their supply lines. They're trying to cut off their communication channels, and then it's over.
And that's the reason why,
crazy.
and brother Karras and brother Michael, that's the reason why when this thing started 3 days ago and I saw it continue the next day, that's why I'm concerned about it, because the fact that, like I said, I've had Verizon for over 20 years, and you don't get stuff like that with Verizon. Verizon is the most expensive but one of the best telecom companies in the United States, and like I said, I can say that because I've been with them for 20 years.
I'm gonna say this to Chantel, and I'm gonna say this to Karras.
Yeah, when
I'm
stuff
gonna say
like
this
this start happening, I'm concerned.
I'm gonna say this to Chantel and Karras. Next week, this time next week.
Here we go.
May I say also what's most important, what's super important is that we stay in communication. I know it sounds hokey, but with Yeshua HaMashiach spiritually, because things connect. You feel? we'll be hitting scriptures because this is guerrilla warfare spiritually. Doesn't he say, I have sheep that are not of this fold? Yes or no? So he is sending out spiritual, it is some spiritual, wonderful things that are happening. And we, as logical as we are with the fact, we must know spirit and know that we have this in tapping into our kinsman redeemer, the real general, that spirit every morning. I think that's why we wake up automatically 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then go straight for the YouTube and we find you, Karis. So this is part of that spiritual, I would exercise, fitness, tapping in. But give thanks, blessings to all, to this family, to this family under
But
Yeshua.
at the
And
same
guys, yeah, go ahead,
at,
Mike. Finish your
at the
thought.
same at the same time that let's not forget that once this stuff hits the fan, our people are going to be the most fearful people
Yes.
on it. I mean, we gonna be the most fearful one because that's gonna be the time when there gonna be a wait a
They're gonna
minute,
be
hold on.
targets on our back, man.
There you go. They're gonna be the most fearful ones. And when they start looking for you, Karis, when they start looking for you, Brother Oral, when they start looking for Don P, they're gonna reach out to family members. Have y'all heard from Don? Anybody got his number? How do we get in contact with him? They gonna be scared. They're going to be scared. And so somebody got a bad echo, don't they?
Yeah, that's Brother Don P. There you go. He's all.
All right. And so, those are the things I would encourage us to continue to look at, because by the time we get back together next week, Teo gonna have something that came on. Another brother or sister gonna have something that happened in the world, and truthfully, we may not be on this call next week because communication. They're gonna say, "Oh, we got a problem with the communication." Everybody, YouTube is shut off. There's no type of communications. Period. Go back to the days of listening to the radio to get your information. So at the same time, if we have the information that, hey, we know these ham radio, they still work. Look into it, invest into it, and talk to other brothers and sisters who got that. And then you get their link where you can get on there and literally talk to that person. Put yourself in a position to continue to communicate.
Yep. Yeah. It's better to plan ahead than to plan as you go.
And that's it.
If you're gonna get a ham radio, you have to get a license.
Yep,
you do.
Yeah, you do need that license.
You got to study for it.
So the other thing is, the citizen band radio you guys were talking about earlier. Yeah, and so you don't need a license for that. But the range is, a lot less than a ham radio.
Well, you could go on side.
Yeah, I don't want to listen to no. I don't know about that one.
No, I used to do CB when I was 14 years old. You can go on side. It's a citizens band. It's the other side. It's called sideband, single sideband. You could go on that, which give you a little bit more range.
Okay.
Yeah, but but just preparing your family and things of that nature. However we deem necessary and more feasible, that's what we need to really truly start concentrating more so on, because we're seeing what's happening, and they might not see what we're seeing, but we're seeing it.
They're not going to see it.
Yeah, but when it hit the fan, trust and believe. You gonna be more important than the president himself.
Yep.
And then the other thing to remember, is that not all of us are going to make it, and that's by design. And it's unfortunate, but it's the truth, and it's part of the truth that we have to face, as much as the truth of this here Babylon is not going to be anymore. And these folks are making all these plans in Babylon. I said to a financial planner last night, I said, "Hey, listen, man, if I told you a month ago, I got 25 acres that I'm going to sell you for $25,000. The land is all prepped. There's no trees, stuff like that. It's all flat and so forth and so on. You interested? He said, where's it located? I said, well, I mean, I told you it's prepped. It's clear. There's no trees and all that other stuff. So does that really make much of a difference? He's like, yeah, where is it? I said, it's in East Palestine, Ohio.
Dang.
My point is this.
Man.
These people are talking about building lives and futures here. They're talking about building lives and futures here when it's all going to be burnt up.
Yep.
I said, why don't you take your money? Why don't you take
Or
that money, which will
irradiated,
go a
or
lot
have some
farther?
sort of yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, go buy that. Use that money to buy land on the continent.
Right.
So
Sure, Uncle
anyway,
Billy
I
didn't
just
snatch
that
that
was just
land.
interesting. People are just making plans here, like there's nothing going on. There's nothing happening, and that's what I was saying about we ain't gonna all make it. 2/3
But
of
brother
us.
John P, remember, I keep mentioning this. It's if you don't have discernment, number one, and the second part of that is if you have the strong delusion, number two,
Yep.
then you're gonna keep planning as if nothing is going on.
Right.
And so I think a lot of these people, they cannot help it because they're part of the strong delusion that the Most High has given them. So they're going to continue planning, and it's nothing that they don't see anything wrong. They're going to think things are going to continue things are going to continue as usual, as normal, or it's going to go back to normal, air quotes, when it's in actuality it's not. So it's nothing that we can do. We just pray and keep it moving because, as you said, it's not everybody's going to make it, but they're not going to be able to help themselves.
We got to keep proclaiming though, because we got the reason why we have to keep proclaiming is because somebody said something that woke us up.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, but we had
we
ears to hear from the
we don't want to
beginning.
be.
That's
don't
true.
wanna
We were
be-
searching.
That is true. I
Yeah.
was seeking the truth earnestly,
Right.
and
That
I
is
was
true.
confused and was
Right.
willing to absorb anything and then vet it. And then that one thing. Well, for me, what happened was I was on this gentleman's channel, long-time channel, and he was a brother, and he was in Christianity, or he is a Christian, but he was always talking about is Yeshua. He was talking about Yeshua's skin color, and I was like, does it really matter his skin color? And then he was like, rebuked me hard. And then I remember I was like, in my feelings, I'm like, why did I get so angry if Yeshua was black or not? And then I looked and I kept on searching. I'm like, oh snap, we are the people. And then I had to go back and say sorry to that brother for opening my eyes, because that is a principality. White supremacy is a strong principality. You should be
Also,
glad
Can
you
I-
made.
can I-
You
can I-
should be glad you survived it, especially past 30. If that's, I feel like once
Yep.
you are like a certain age, especially my
Biggest
group,
possession
it's either you have to
ever.
acquiesce in some essence and like give up a part of your culture or soul, or you just a rebel
Your
and you
soul,
just are
yes.
you just like hated because you're
Your
intelligent
soul
and
and your
dangerous.
intellect. You have to give up your soul and your intellect.
Brother Don P,
to
what were you
believe
gonna
that
say?
lie.
Okay, so I just wanted to speak a parable to y'all real quick. A landowner came to the city center at the start of the day and saw men standing about and said, "Why don't you come over to my vineyard and work for me?"
I know where you're
And he
going.
came back. Okay, so y'all know where I'm going.
No, but can
So
finish it.
it doesn't matter. Okay, so then he came back during the various different hours of the day and recruited more people. And he came back at the last hour and he made an offer to those people, and they came into the vineyard. Now, those who had been there all day, supposing that they should get more than the ones that came in the last hour, started to grumble. We have to remember, we're not all coming into the master's vineyard at the same time.
Right.
But the reward is going to be the same for all of us. Friend, I've done you no harm. I've done you no harm. I said, if you follow me, I'm going to give you eternal life. Now, you might have to work longer for it. You might have to work longer for it than your brother. But you know what? Don't be of this world. Rejoice that your brother heard me in the last hour and came into my vineyard. And
Right.
I'll end it there.
Hallelujah.
Right.
Can I say
Hallelujah.
something to that, Don P, Uncle Don P? Don P? The
Chantel,
thing is,
Chantel, hold on just for a moment. For you brothers, because I got to get out and go get these people network up and running. You all brothers be safe out there, and I say shalom to you.
All right,
Okay,
brother
brother.
shalom,
Mike. You be
shalom.
safe, brother.
Shalom, brother Mike.
All
Shalom.
right, bro.
Shalom, brother Mike.
What I
Blessings,
what I
Brother Mike.
what I wanted to say was the difference is, and I agree with you, and nothing would please me more. I'm not like, no, I've been working, I've been awake longer. I'm happy for anyone. The difference is that we were looking. The people that are coming in, they were looking.
Right.
When you try to tell your family and friends who don't want to hear, they don't want to hear.
Right.
That's the difference. Even in the parable, the ones that came to work first, they came to work. The ones that came to work last, they came to work. There's people that didn't go to work. They didn't want to. There's people here who we try, and I imagine there might have been signposts saying, come and work in this vineyard, get this amount of money, get this pay, but they didn't want it. We've been trying to tell some people, family and friends, look, can you see it? And every time something happens, like my family member turned around and said, the banks are not failing.
Wow.
That's what they said. I'm like, they turned around and said, there's no way it's going to fail. And well, he didn't say there's no way. He said that there's always backup plans. But what happens when they've exhausted all those backup plans? You
I hear
know?
you, sister.
So
I had the same conversation last week with a sister that was in finance, and she was saying the same thing.
yeah,
Yep.
and that's
And
I
the
wanted to
problem
say
is
that
they
to
don't
Brother
have any
Oral
backup
actually.
plan. You realize the problem is they don't have any backup plans because all their backstop plans. Let me tell you how this thing works. Let me tell you how secondary banking works. I know Brother Oral knows this, right? Secondary banking works off of money that is basically being paid by smaller countries. Those smaller countries do happen to be located more in Africa with other smaller companies that try to think that they're getting a return and they're not getting a return. So they're feeding the Ponzi scheme. They're feeding the market. But the market now it's inversed. So what they thought was that they were getting on out, it's not coming out with what they're putting in. They're still putting in what they've been told to put in, but they're not getting it out because everybody else is trying to get things out because the Ponzi scheme isn't working. And they're on the bottom saying, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna get this taken care of." If you understood what was going on with Putin and Xi, they were literally saying, "You're gonna get your wealth, and you're gonna keep your wealth, and your wealth is gonna be in parity with what you're putting in because we're doing something that has a standard. It's gold back.
It has a
If you
value
don't have
to
a
it,
standard,
basically.
exactly. If you don't have a standard, then guess what? You can trump up anything to anybody and say, this is your piece, that's your piece. Well, how come my piece doesn't seem very fair to that piece? Well, it's based off of calculations and based off of this algorithm look, they
And that
lie
I
to
said
you.
all of that. I said all of that. But the lie is just so entrenched that they don't actually want to see it. They can't see it. And they do work in finance. They
But
Hey,
work
you
Curious.
in
do
a bank, and
They
it's
understand.
put
like,
they
That's the whole situation. If you have been so entrenched in the lie, you understand you're just right for judgment. Your fruit is right. That's what we came in. We literally just read this in Isaiah chapter 3, right? The reward of what? Of the wicked. And the wicked see this and they can't. It's the fact that it's like this. The Most High does not want to destroy. He doesn't. But when we're at such a low point and where we're at as a people, where we're at as literally the nations, then it has to be destroyed. There has to be destruction. Because why? Because there literally has to be a calling off. For what? For that wickedness to be laid down low. See, do you not understand when it says in the scriptures that what? That the sins of what? Of Babylon have gone up to what? To heaven
Heaven.
His
or to
face, where you could see them. Yeah, I remember that.
exactly. It's now you look, they can't hide it anymore. And it's so bad that
Well, it was
this
never hidden
confusion
from the Most High. It's just that He allowed it to happen, and He gave them a chance because He said, "I would heal Babylon if they would have repented," but they refused to repent.
that's correct.
But
However,
did it
Even the
say
there's a
say
saints, even
see
the
there's a
or
saints and the
threshold.
martyrs
You get what I'm
asked how
see what I'm
long.
saying?
No, let
There's
him
a
finish it,
threshold.
guys.
There's a threshold to this. They've met and exceeded that threshold. And now this is where this judgment's coming about. Because here's the thing. This is why, look, we could say we can hold our peace, but we ask the Most High to not hold His peace. And this is
Hallelujah.
where when we're trying to say, look, the patience of the saints are being worn out. Of course, we're being worn out because why? We see this whole system. It's all entrenched. We can't do anything about it. Look, this judgment's coming here. This judgment's going to be swift. I mean, think about how swift this judgment's going to be, because we can all see it playing out because we've been given that spirit of discernment. The fool or the wicked, they act like everything is fine, even though in the background they're literally trying to rob Peter to pay Paul to keep a system afloat. Do you understand? The system is collapsing.
Wickedness takes so much effort.
It does.
Hey, they
It
put
does.
they put
Handwriting
Bernie
on the
It
wall.
does.
they put Bernie Madoff in prison for this. They put Bernie Madoff in prison for the very thing they do.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And you want to know why? It was embarrassing because Bernie literally exposed the whole narrative. He literally exposed it, and that's what they were mad about. That was the embarrassment. How did he play the same games that we played? It's that was kind of that faux pas. The sacred cow. You don't do what we do. You could try to have something like it, but you don't do the full essence of it, right?
Well, he got off
And then
code. He got off code because he's supposed to do it to the Goyim and not his own people.
that's right.
Especially the war
And
on
he did, and,
drugs.
and let me tell you, there's a whole lot of long faces that were here in South Florida that fell into that trap.
What trap?
The
That's why he got
12%.
punished. That's why he got punished. If he had
Oh
just
yeah,
done it to the Goyim, he would have never got
yeah,
punished.
yeah. Look, especially to us, to us. Oh, it would have been clear sailing.
They would have given him a
And make a
Nobel Peace
handbag out
Prize.
of one of them.
Yeah,
Hey, Brooklyn Brew, you're still there? I haven't heard you.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
yeah. That's what got him caught up. This is why. Look, we see how the system. It's a failed system. It really is. But they don't want to tell you that all they're trying to do. They're trying to keep their hope and their strength in Babylon. That's the problem.
Brother Karras, I have a very important question.
hmm
What point in Revelation do you think we're at?
I don't even know. You ask that question for Brother Yakoba.
Yeah, give that to your
It really
But
is one of those questions that we just don't know where we're at.
Because you're
Honestly,
talking about
uh,
the worn out saints, and I feel worn out.
yeah, maybe that's where we are.
but
Because
you know,
I mean, we really
and Don too,
in this
and
whole
Don too.
line. Yes, sir.
And Don, the reason why you guys are so correct, you and Paris are so correct about it, is because it's so many things happening all at the same time that it is really hard to tell where we are, because it's like all these different events happening, man. And then the crazy thing is, in the next couple of days, a whole bunch of things could all fall at the same time. A whole bunch of dominoes could just fall down at the same time.
Remember
Well,
this. Remember this. Even within the context of it, that a foolish generation seeks signs.
hmm
Yes,
Even
yes.
though we are to recognize the signs, it's like I think there's a difference in those two. And when he gives those two, when he says those two things, They're not mutually exclusive. Um,
because
I think
Revelation.
if you're looking too hard for something, I think that's what he's talking about. That
Hmm.
it becomes you can be fooled because you're looking too hard instead of letting the natural thing occur and your ruach go. That's what he was talking about.
And I'll go back to this. I'll go back to this. The fact that, and also Nubian me mentioned this, the fact that we are not sleeping well, that's a telling sign right there. Okay, if all of us can just say that we've been sleeping like babies the last couple of weeks, then okay, we're good. Everything is no signs. But the fact that we are sleeping so horribly, that's telling me something.
Yeah.
And it's a
Got
trip because it's either driving us to our knees, or it's driving us to the assembly,
Hmm.
the quarter
Because when I
G.
can't sleep,
It,
well, I just open the
you
Bible and
know,
Yeah,
start reading,
praying,
man.
praying, and
Or
keeping
either I
each other
start praying.
vigilant.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's either
And
driving
doesn't
us
the
to
scripture
prayer or it's
says
driving us
he's
here to
gonna?
gather together to talk about, to speak about what he is doing and essentially acknowledging him and what he's doing in this earth. And that brings him
Hallelujah
praise
to
and
that,
glory
man.
because he says, where two or three are gathered in my name, I'm going to be in the middle of them. And
Hallelujah.
so
Yeah.
digitally,
Hmm.
he's in the middle of us. And he's called, and it's a call to the assembly. It's almost like getting your war plans.
And we're
Yes.
Because
interrupting
when
the
we're
heirs.
isolated,
We're intercepting the prince of the air at the same time at these witching hours. We know about witchcraft and the witching hours. We wake up and are intercepting those things at the same time.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because, like I said, when I can't sleep, I just start praying, and it's like I'm in between a realm. I'm sleeping half, and I just keep praying. And it used to frustrate me when I couldn't fall back asleep. Not anymore. I just pray, or I wake up and I do my study, and I go exercise or something to that effect. So, all praises to the Most High. And brother Don, you are so correct when you say that. Because honestly, for me, one of the most important things for me now is these assemblies when I get a chance to just be amongst my people. Because for years, man, since I woke up what 6 years ago. Since when I started really searching, I kept saying, man, I wish I had other people that I can talk to that think like I do. And for a while, it was just me. And then finally, I get a chance to get on Yakoba's channel. Then I saw Covenant Awake, and I'm like, man. So for me, this is a blessing for me, man.
Amen. Me too, bro.
so what you find out there was 700 that haven't bent their knee to Baal. Is that what you
Hmm.
found out? That he had
No, no,
700 that
no,
hadn't built.
no. I'm
You
sorry.
know what I'm
What do you
talking
say?
about, right?
Say it again.
I said, so you found out that he had 700 that hadn't bent their knee to Baal.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, 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 brother.
Yeah, that's what it feels like because we are few and far between in terms of being outspoken and understanding who we are. A shout out to the folks that are here in the Tampa area where I'm at, especially with Big Red. It's nice to see another Hebrew, another Israelite in person. And fellowship. And I know, brother Oral, you're about an hour and a half from me, and so that
Hmm.
that can be a little daunting with the travel.
Yeah.
But um, there are still brews, Israelites that are in the area, especially Orlando area. Believe it or not, there's actually quite a few. So that's the that's the blessing, especially where I'm at
Yeah.
in this part of Florida. But we're here, we're up,
Hmm.
we're awake. It's just in this time, right? You there's a lot of there was a lot of deception when we had awakened, right? Because a lot of us earlier, figure it out. It's like, what was this camp stuff all about? And then it's like, oh no, these folks are not led by the Ruach HaKodesh, and that was a real turnoff. But
Yep.
that didn't turn us off from trying to figure out what the Most High was trying to do or was trying to say.
Hmm.
So what we did
Part
It
of the
didn't
was,
turn us off. It
teaching.
just
It's
turned us
part of the
away.
teaching. No,
It
it's
turned
part of
us
the teaching.
away
Grade 1,
from
grade
that
2, grade
false.
3.
that false doctrine. Oh, by the way, Brother Curious, did you catch Big Red last night? He did a program last night.
Yeah, I follow. I caught the little bit of the ending for the show. I was on Jill C's channel, Rook at the Well, giving a testimony, and then I was trying to catch. I caught the tail end of Big Red, and I caught the tail end of a Gates of Holder. So there was a lot of stuff that was going on last
It
night. I
was.
think
It was. It's just
we pick
busy out here.
Wednesdays. We pick Wednesdays as
That middle of the week.
yeah, everybody's coming out with
Shot
fire.
had one too.
Bible
Because
study. Bible study.
even Brandy had a
Prayer
program
meeting.
out earlier in the day too.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Bible study in the air.
She
like
changed
the
her-
said. It's a
She
whole
changed the name of our channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man. So there's a lot of stuff going on last night.
Edification
and that's good.
every
and that's
day.
good.
Edification every day, right?
Yeah,
It's
Did you
feeding
see the
the
part where he
Lord.
was talking about the mothership?
You know what's so interesting? We're eating. This is the banquet dinner, the supper, the Lamb Supper. I'm thinking about that too because we're eating and eating good food, consuming. Some of us are having soup. Some of us have to have steak. But we're eating. Give thanks.
I'm having a vegan vegetable soup, my dear.
Garth, who was talking about mothership?
I'm having some naan,
Big Red. Big
some
Red's,
roti.
I gotta listen to that.
Like
Yeah, I
you
gotta
can
go
literally
back and
look it
listen
up.
to it again,
They're
too.
saying there's articles about them monitoring mothership. I'm not joking.
No, they're literally talking about like there's a meteorite or an asteroid, and they're saying that's an alien probe, and a Harvard science or professor.
And we all know what that is.
You know what
We
I'm
all
saying?
know
It's
what it
like,
is.
come on now.
It's pre-programming it's predictive programming for when Yahushua cracks that dome. That's all it is. They trying to
wormwood?
get these people's minds in a set that anything coming from the air is either it's an asteroid or something like that, or it's an alien. When we know who's going to be coming through them skies.
And
then
Yeshua said
Project
the
Blue
kingdom
Beam,
is within,
JWTV
right?
was talking about
The
Project
But
Blue
you know
Beam.
some Brother Don P.
is within.
Brother Don P. I would not be surprised if these fallen angels come and try to do
Yeah, that
something.
too.
Yes,
Try and
because
come
the
do
kingdom.
something that's going to try to mimic, and they're going to fool. That's why the Bible talks about this. So many people are going to be fooled. But the
Don't
people that
go
have
here.
the
Don't go there.
understanding, they're going to
If
know.
they say he's in the mountains, don't go there. If they say he's there, don't go there.
Remember this. Remember that Victoria's Secret commercial
Which one?
where
We don't know. It was a
they fell
secret.
from the sky like they fell from the sky like comets.
Oh yeah,
And it popped
Victoria's
up, and
Secret advert.
Yeah, you remember that commercial? So when somebody said that, it just reminded me of that. It was like, oh, you know what? That could be the fallen angels, and they pop up as people because they
You know what
show
their
us.
secret is
They
now?
show all the time.
So they live. You have to have your spiritual glasses on to see who the others
Oh
are.
yeah,
Right.
they live.
And Keith David.
I'm not
David
putting
Keith.
on these
Karis,
glasses.
you're gonna blow Uncle Don's mind, man. You're bringing up They Live, and then you got like what's it, Battlestar Galactica, all these things that they keep putting out there. It's like it's too much, man. It's like when you can see it, it's like, oh wow, this is so obvious, but everybody else is watching it, and it's like, can't you see this? Just like They Live, can't you see what's going on? Look, and they can't see it. It's
They don't
really
have those
weird.
glasses. They don't have those glasses.
I'm not doing it.
The Holy Spirit doesn't allow. So at the same time, there are some people who are not allowed to see it. That's why we are blessed.
And that's
that,
why those are the ones that have gotten the strong delusion from the Most High.
Yes.
Right.
He says it. He said he will give them stronger delusions. I mean, it's in the scriptures. So, they're in the drunkenness of Babylon, And
it's so sad because.
Go ahead,
But you know
Don.
something? I want to mention this. One of the most one of the most invigorating thing is like the last couple of days. Me, Mike, and Brooklyn Brew, we're like looking and planning all these different places that we were looking to hit in Africa. And I mean, just the whole doing that was so exciting, and just to get together and just talk about it was so invigorating, man. And to just think, wow, for the first time, as I was saying, I said this before and I'll say it again.
this is the first year I've actually seen myself living somewhere else other than the United States. Because I used to say the most I'll do is maybe when I'm older I'd go back to Jamaica. But now, as I mentioned before, I'm not even looking there, man. I'm looking to the land, and it's because the Most High has allowed me to see that this is not going to be here anymore, and we have to start doing planning and preparation.
Right.
So I would
And
suggest
thank
that
And
we
I
you.
was
You
going
all
to
know,
say on
do
that
some
point,
kind of
thank you.
preparation.
I was
Thank
going to
you
say
for
on that
that.
point, what's really kind of disturbing for me in my family is that they are dependent upon a system that's going to fall. So I was
Yeah,
talking to my aunt last night, and she's 90, and well, she'll be 90 next month. The thing is, it's like you could prepare today if you utilize the weapons that are out there,
and that's available.
that are available, and that is you could take your 401k or whatever your retirement is out of its state using different IRS codes to be able to legally
Mhm.
extract that money and then take that money. Now you got the money you need to seed for your life on the continent. We just
Mm-hmm.
got to be creative now. Social Security, you can't get that. But your
Mm-mm.
retirements and stuff like that, you could access that money, and it's better to access it now while it has value before they tell you,
Why you see exactly,
the system
exactly.
falls. Because
And
see,
and
I know
may
the
I? May
California
I?
retirement system, is built on the stock market. They're all
Mm.
built on that
All of
whole
them are,
system that's going
man.
to
Too.
crumble.
And,
Dante, most of them are, man.
Yeah, that's it. They're all going
uh,
to crumble. So get your money out now. So anyway, I yield.
may I also just not a plug, but again, I the Cetros blog. If anybody wants to reach out to them, because they are transparent, they believe in the Most High. They're Nigerian. They are partners. I think they're partners who are listening that need to link with them because they're really trying to help out the Nigerian youth and educating and that skills development, that partnership. So again, I'm going to say Setros, Setros blog. You know, if anyone feels that.
Okay, such was blog. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for the info.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna do
Thank
final
you.
comments. Final comments.
All right, peace, brother Karis, and everyone. Shalom.
All right, thanks, thanks, Brother Garth. That was quick.
Bless you, Brother G.
Brother Shaul, any final words? I'm gonna put the cash app up in here for help. You're doing things. You're moving, and we're just gonna say, on behalf of Brother Shaul, for those that feel led to give, especially pray about it. You prayed about it and you give. Here's what I posted it in the chat. Where to give to. It is posted in the chat. Brother Show, any further words? Okay. All right, nothing heard from Brother Show. I'm gonna put you in the back. Oh. All right. Brooklyn Brew. Any last comments? Hmm. If you're talking, we're not able to hear you. Hello? All right. Well, thank you, Brooklyn Brew. Move you to the back. Sister New Being Me.
Yes, testing, testing. You hear me? Yes,
Yes, we can
I.
hear you.
So just maybe I need some help from the panel. Just as you were speaking in the Old Testament, the handwriting on the wall. What was it? Tickle, tickle, you farson. You've been
Many,
waiting.
many tackle you fasten.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, sis. So this is what's happening currently. And as we're gathering, ethnology is kind of a lot of what I like to do, what our group likes to do. So even in thinking about us coming back, um, it's in the word, and it is, and we are building and connecting with the homeland and working on that word sound. I just just thinking about, okay, just as an example, ethnology, and thinking about how far we've come and where we're going. When we think of Elohim in the Haitian Creole, they would call the spirit Loa. So you can see where the Eloah comes in there, and then you can also see where it comes in Aloha. So do you understand? It's all in the word, and the word was with God, and the word, you know what I mean? The word was made through. I'm also nervous and excited because it's so right on time. The word was with him, and the word is working through us. So let's keep our word to him, and let's build this, and especially building with our family, and really working on communicating beyond this English. We have to go and grow. Give thanks.
Shalom.
All right, thanks.
Can I go? Because I got to go as well.
Yeah, Sister Chantel, go ahead.
As always, it's been a pleasure. It's nice just hanging with family. I've been feeling a little, whatever. I don't even know how to describe it, but coming on here, being in the chat, it's always good. It's coming home. It's hanging out. It's taking my coat off and hanging it up and just sitting down and hanging and chilling
I
with family.
agree,
So
I agree.
it feels nice. It really does. So you guys, you pick me up, even like with that, and I love the jokes because it's uplifting. It makes me feel good. Like, I'm sorry, I love a good joke, but I like to laugh, and I like to see people laugh, and I like to see people happy and smiling. Who wants to be like? Sometimes I feel like we come out of church, and church was so glum, and it's man, all of that nonsense, and it's like you have to be so rigid, and I don't see that as, because they turned it into religion, and it's not about a religion. It was about family and togetherness. It was about a people. So they don't get that, and it's when we come here and we laugh, and yeah, I'm sorry guys, I know we all talk over each other, and it is confusing because when I step back and I'm like, oh my gosh, is that what we sound like? So I can understand, but I know when it's like, because we're all excited and everybody's got something to say, so it's like, if you think it's bad now, you guys are in the chat, but come on. We all know that when we're back home, everybody is going to be talking, oh my gosh, is that you? Ah! We're all going to be crazy, and it's going to sound like noise, but it's going to be a wonderful, blessed noise. So yeah, it's coming home. It's chilling out with family. It's coming to the cookout, and I love all of you. I really do. I get so excited and giddy, and I can't wait. I love you all, and thank you for having me on, Karis. And yeah, I have to. One thing I do want to say, because I got to go, but one thing I do have to say, I'm so sorry if I come on and I always do forget to greet. We just pounce, and but forgive me for that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a UK thing. Y'all just come straight to business. Y'all don't say, "Hey, how y'all doing?" There's no Southern hospitality. I'm a Southern boy here, growing up in Florida.
so,
Yeah,
yeah,
hey,
sometimes
how are
we just
you?
we
How are
just get
your
straight to
family?
business.
Oh no, you see what happened? Oh my goodness.
That's
But
what I'm like
Chantel,
in the chat stuff.
but Sister Chantel, I just want to say it's always a pleasure hearing and chatting with you. So you're one
Thank
of the first
you.
people I connected with when I first came on. So it's always a pleasure when I see you up there.
Thank you, and same here. I truly, I really do love you all. all of you. And I
Back.
try to
Love
make
you.
sure that I greet everyone if I can in the chat, because I know what it's like, especially when you first come in and everybody knows everybody. So I really want to make sure that everybody feels connected. That is important to me. I'm not just saying it, it is important to me. So yeah, I just want to say that, and I'm gonna go now. So bye bye everybody. Shalom. See you later.
Shalom, shalom,
Later.
Sister Chantel. Brother Oral, excuse me, Brother Oral. Oh, man, it's been
Yes,
long.
brother, I'm really curious.
Yeah, it's been long. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brother, it's always a pleasure, man. It's such a pleasure just to be amongst folks. Let me tell you, man. When I saw you, because I was taking the kids to school, I was looking at it and see your thing come up yet. But I think, like I said, the connection is just so horrible around here, man. So when I was looking at it and see it, and when I was coming back, I was like, great. And I'm trying to connect, and it's just taking forever. So I know in the last 3 days things have changed. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna enjoy this family we still have the opportunity until we get back to the land, because I mean honestly we're living in perilous times, and anything can be taken away from us at any given time. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna just enjoy the family as much as I can, and I also want to apologize for us talking over each other. But like as just the Chantel said, you just get so excited, and sometimes when I hear it, it used to annoy me, but now what I do is I sit back and I just smile, and I
Mhm.
also wonder and imagine just being back in the land, and just when he comes back to reclaim us, all these different things. I mean, it's gonna be something special. So what I would encourage everyone to do is to work towards that goal. You know, we're not in religion anymore, but we still serve the Most High, and
Absolutely.
we cannot forget that. And so just make your preparation, because even when the children of Israel was exiting Egypt, they still made preparation. When the angel told them to put the blood on the doorpost for the Passover, they had to physically put the blood on the doorpost. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't just sit back and think, oh well, he's gonna just make a way. No, you have to start preparing. And if you're being told time and time again, like the other day, Jacoba kept getting beat up because he was telling people to get ready and to do something. He wasn't telling them to run out and exit now and go back to Africa, but he was saying do something. So we all have to make some kind of preparation as much as you can. And the rest, the Most High will open the door and you can just walk through it. And I'll rest on that. And also, Karis, thank you for just getting up and hosting these things, because I know you have a lot of things to do and you take all these hours with us. So I do appreciate you, and I pray that the Most High may continue to use you to be a blessing to others, because I know that's what you have been. Brother Don, peace. Always good to hear your wisdom, brother. I love you.
Love you too, man. You have a great day.
All right,
All
thank you.
right. Thank you, Brother Oral. Brother Don P.
Ah, brother
You
Ken.
gotta take the plane off of autopilot and let's get it landed.
All right. Uh, yeah, many are your blessings that are coming because obedience is better than the sacrifice. Um, and I love what Sister Chantel, the Queen, was saying. In these times that we're living in, we gotta continue to be like our Father. I mean, the humor and then the creativity, all the things that are positive about us, that is from Him because we're made in His image and in His similitude. And so we have to just, we're going to be going through some perilous times, but in order for us to make it through, we're going to need that joy from the Most High, and
Absolutely.
that's going to be our strength. And so, you know, let's not take ourselves so seriously and let the Most High direct and order our steps, and we're going to be okay. And I land there.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Brother Don P. All right. So, there's a couple things I want to address before I get off of the stream. So first things first, it's answering Brother Eric Tinsley's question. Um, it's Sister Jill C, and her channel is Aruka at the Well. Aruka at the Well, and it is it's a women's ministry that primarily focuses on our Israelite women, with relationships and things of this nature. Um, but she does have a channel, and that's where I was invited on yesterday. She does things in coordination with Sister Shonda at large. So you'll see her on a lot of her platforms and things of that nature. So it's all healing, right? We're healing. A lot of folks don't really understand that our awakening was really a sign of our healing, because this is this is that madness, right? These are the folks that we had in derision, right? This is this is the old nation, not desired, Zephaniah 2 and 1, right? These are all the things that we have, um, that have driven us to this, spiritual madness. And see, just as we're driven to spiritual madness, now these nations are driven to spiritual madness, because now they can't understand what's happening. And so we also have to understand, listen, a lot of these folks with the tongues and the lingual patterns and things of that nature, I don't prescribe to that aloha or anything else. No, a lot of folks are Canaanites. Okay. They had their interactions with who? With Israelites. So guess what they're going to keep up? The phonetic interaction, Phoenicians, phonetics, alphabet. F- Okay. All of those things. So we have to be careful in what we're saying, because you don't even know what you're promoting or what you're letting in to your spirit man. So I wanted to get that on out the way, because a lot of our people will listen to this and they'll be like, "Oh, that sounds good. That sounds knowledgeable," and then they don't even understand. Man, they're eating up some terrible doctrine, and that's not going to happen on this channel. Let one of the Most High sheep go astray? Absolutely not. So I will correct it. I will take the time to correct it, and I'll make sure that it's corrected. Because why? Because it's edification. Because why? Because everybody's still learning. Not everybody's on the same pace. I get it. But we always have to make sure that we're continuing to learn. Oh, wow. The Phoenicians, phonetic alphabets, Canaanites. Oh, I get it. When it says that when we were scattered to the four corners of this earth, well, don't you know that there are other people scattered with us to do what? To hold us into some sort of derision, to hold us into some sort of oppression. Yeah, you may be Haiti, and yeah, you may have a statistical difference of the folks in the land and in the nation, but guess what? That don't mean anything. You're still basically owned by the West. So it makes no difference. You're in the Isles that's owned by the West. And let me tell you, they make sure that they know that that the whole world knows that they're still owned by the West when they assassinate their leaders, when they throw the government into chaos. But we always try to create some sort of a mysticism of captivity. Well, my captivity is a little bit different than your captivity, and my captivity is, with this and that. No, we're all in captivity. Who cares? Y'all, the thing is about captivity is to make it have the illusion that your captivity isn't really a captivity, but the conditions are all the same. because that's what the word is all about. If you don't know who you are, you better read the word because why? There's a standard. See, you want to know why this world is getting mad because they're judged? Because they're getting judged inside and out because there's a standard that they have to account for from the Most High. Yes, exactly. Just as Brother Don P has stated, under the same taskmaster in different geographic locations. People thought that escaping to the U.S. decades ago was going to provide an opportunity that they wouldn't be able to find elsewhere. And then they find out and they realize, oh, they're still in the same kind of disposition. They may make a little bit more money, but it's all relative. And now the Gentiles are learning that they got sold a bill of goods. And those goods are not really the return on profit, the return on investment that they thought it would be. Now they're beginning to understand their return on investment is going to lead them into captivity. Because why? Because they had traditionally sold out, and when they sold all the way out, they don't know where else to look at. But that's what the Most High does. He leads them in a trap. And all they're going to do is, just like mice, take the bait. Because when you are not operating in the spiritual, you become what? You're an animal. You're a beast. This is why we were created. We were made. We're just a little lower than the angels. But the thing is that we have to keep heart and keep ourselves encouraged and keep seeing how the Most High is moving. And the Most High is moving day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment. Even if we don't feel like he's moving, oh, he is doing great things. Great things. So with SF family, most high willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. Building Bridges is tonight for those that have the invites. You're welcome to show. You're welcome to experience. You're welcome to get some understanding and insight, and we'll go from there. Yeah, this is I don't know about you. It is an exciting time to be alive, especially when you understand and see what's going on. When you understand and see things from the biblical perspective, it's like, wow, who's Are you not seeing this? You know, we want to. That's what we want to say. Can you see this? Are you not seeing this? Are you not understanding this? So again, shout out to Gates of Holder. Shout out to Maria. Shout out to Sister Shonda. That was a good teaching the other night. Shout out to Big Red. Shout out to Brother Yakoba. Flee doctrine. Flee doctrine. Look, you just go however the Spirit moves you, however He leads you. You ask the Most High for direction. And if He opens that door, He opens that door. If He doesn't, and guess what? You're on the same boat as me. I know where I'm ultimately going. I know what I ultimately want to, lay my paths on. But I also know that, when the Most High says it's time to go, then it'll be time to go. And I'm not going to think twice. A lot of us are like, we're waiting on that angel to open the door, start gathering us up and putting us in the buses and loading us into the planes or the boats. And there we go. I don't know how the Most High is going to use these nations. But it says He's going to use these nations. That's Isaiah 60. So we have to be able to recognize this. And this is the craziest thing. We can't even recognize what's in the Word. But again, that's between you and the Most High. All we can do is to study and apply what we can apply to ourselves and keep it moving. Just let the Most High deal with everything. You know how many detractors we get? I say let the Most High deal with it. So, family, yeah, let me get up on out of here. I pray that you all enjoyed the live stream. I pray that it wasn't as as obnoxious. No, I'm actually pretty pretty happy about how it went. It was definitely timely and definitely more in order. Well, you have to give our people a little bit of a chance to straighten things out. We straighten things out. We're not like what the Uncle Ruckus pastor. Oh, he gave us. They gave us too much freedom, and look at what happened. They don't know how to organize themselves. Okay, if that was the case, then we would have never been able to organize all of our Black Wall Streets, not just in Greenwood. But in other parts of the South, after we came up out of the plantation, after our ancestors came up out of the plantations and were able to establish cities, commerce, a lot of people like to forget that it's convenient to slip their mind that a lot of these things had been sabotaged. And now we're dealing with, let me keep my words careful, the potential sabotage of this nation. Look, they can't even keep our rails safe, our roads safe, our infrastructure safe. But when you don't have any security and you've only let in folks that they're deemed trustworthy because they don't have any melanin in their complexion. So come on in. Sit on down. I don't care what you do. Matter of fact, just showing up for the court date. Oh, and if you don't showing up, it's not a big deal. Yeah, they did it to themselves. That's literally called a failed state. We would have healed Babylon, but she refused to be healed. The failed state. So with that said, family, I'm done talking. So with that, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.